Chapter 701 The Lord of the Nine Netherworlds. Not only Luo Yan, but others also didn't understand, because this situation is very nonsense, but it happened like this. It simply subverts previous perceptions. Father, I really doubt that the divine court must be inseparable from this matter. Without the help of its power, how can the heavenly court do it at this stage? As his thoughts turned, Luo Yan spoke out his inner thoughts. This is what he has always suspected. Those were 100,000 ancient saints, nearly 10 million in number. How could they all be destroyed in this small world? Luo Wuliang tried his best to control his emotions, his eyes were terrifyingly gloomy. I also have this suspicion, but our informants did not see Shenting sending anyone to help the holy world. If this is true, I, Juyu, can definitely know in advance, know as for being kept in the dark. Shenting monitors Juyu, and Juyu is also monitoring Shenting. Both sides have their own spies and spies secretly installed. This is no secret to the senior officials. If there is any slight change, they will know it immediately. Unless there is a being like the Saint of Creation, who personally shields the secret, he can get through it almost perfectly. But, is this possible? This level of competition has not yet reached such a high level. You know, there are only two Saints of Creation in the universe today, one is the Lord of the Nine Netherworlds, and the other is the Lord of the Divine Court. The status of these two people is extremely transcendent. They sit behind the scenes to check and balance each other, and have maintained an extremely delicate balanced relationship throughout the ages. It is impossible for a small holy world to attract their attention. Therefore, Luo Wuliang denied this conjecture. But the more this happens, the more uncomfortable I feel. Because this means that the destruction of the Juyu Legion was achieved by Heavenly Court alone. This also makes it difficult for him to accept this fact. Father, why don't I personally lead the team to meet this guy named Yi Junlin? Luo Yan seemed to have made up his mind, and a terrifying light burst out from his eyes. If the outside world knew that Luo Yan, the son of the leader of the Asura clan, was going to personally deal with the Lord of Heaven, the news would surely be more sensational than the destruction of the Nine Nether Legion. The reason is simple, Luo Yan is not only noble in status, but more importantly because of his powerful strength. He is the legendary genius of the Asura clan, and the entire Juyu is recognized as the strongest supreme among the younger generation. A super evildoer of this level actually wants to take action himself. How can this not make many outside forces make a fuss? After all, compared with the so-called strongest holy king, the 9 nether legions sent out earlier were like ants in front of him. Luo Wuliang looked at this burly man whose eyebrows were somewhat similar to his own and who had a majestic body. There was a hint of relief in his eyes, but as if he thought of something, he shook his head again and said in a deep voice. You are my son, Luo Wuliang, and every move you make represents the attitude of the Asura clan and Juyu. If you are involved, so what if you end up destroying the holy world? It will only give Shenting a chance to use this opportunity to play its role. Opportunity, we can't afford to lose this face. Instead of wasting time on this kind of thing, it is better to refine your Yama heart as soon as possible and break through to the realm of the Holy Ancestor as soon as possible. From now on, the position of clan leader will be handed over to you as a father. Hear the words. Luo Yan had no choice but to give up, lowered his head and said, Yes, father. The realm of the Holy Ancestor is a huge watershed in the Holy Realm. Only those who reach this realm can achieve great transcendence and great freedom in this universe, without fear of any threat from starry sky storms, and can go anywhere. He is also a super giant recognized by all races, the true supreme power, standing at the top of the Holy Pyramid. If there is no saint of creation, then the saint ancestor realm is the strongest, covering the sky with one hand. In fact, the Lord of the Nine Nethers and the Lord of the Divine Courtyard, these two saints of creation, usually do not reveal themselves to the public. They live in seclusion behind the scenes, and many matters are left to the people below to handle, that is, the Saint Ancestor Realm Great Master, Abel. Therefore, in public perception, the Saint Ancestor Realm is already the highest peak a saint can reach. And Luo Yan has practiced the Buddha Yama Gong since he was a child. This skill was passed down from his ancestors. The skill is extremely mysterious and unparalleled in power. After practicing to the peak level, he can condense the heart of Yama, and if he completely refines it, he can use this to break through the Saint Ancestor realm. Of course, this skill is extremely difficult to practice. All members of the royal family are qualified to master it, but very few can get started. Fortunately, Luo Yan is extremely talented and has excelled in this field. Now he is far away from the perfect level of the skill, only a short distance away. Once he reaches it, he can use this to break through the realm of the holy ancestor and firmly occupy the position of the future patriarch. The stakes are so high that nothing can go wrong. My child, please leave. After Luo Yan retreated, Luo Wuliang was left alone in the hall, standing with his hands behind his hands, his eyes constantly changing, wondering what he was thinking about. Sudden, there was something strange in my arms. Luo Wuliang's expression changed drastically, and he took out a black and red token with a strange talisman from his arms. At this time, the token was vibrating crazily and getting hot. It's the Lord. The Lord he spoke of was none other than the Lord of 9 netherworlds. No one knows the origin of the Lord of the 9 nethers, and he does not belong to any race. It seems that he has existed since the birth of the universe, and he is a powerful man of the same era as the Lord of the Divine Court. All along, basically everything has been decided by meetings of the 9 nether and 10 clans. The Lord of Juyu rarely intervenes in person, but every time he issues a decree, it is an extremely important matter and must be implemented consistently from top to bottom, with no room for sloppiness. Now, at this juncture, the Lord of 9 nethers personally conveyed the news to him. This made Luo Wuliang, who had always been fearless, feel a little flustered. He felt like a subordinate who had done something wrong was being questioned by his superiors. Luo Wuliang took a deep breath. Before he was ready, the token detached itself from his hand and floated above his head. A huge blurry shadow appeared, and half of his body seemed to be shrouded in darkness, exuding an unfathomable and vast aura like an abyss, giving people a cold and lonely feeling. In just a moment, Luo Wuliang felt a great sense of oppression, and thin beads of sweat slid down his forehead. His waist, which was originally as straight as a spear, couldn't help but bend down at this moment. He bowed humbly and said respectfully, "Luo Wuliang, please see me, your majesty." To the saint of creation, the saint ancestor is nothing more than an ant, just like the difference between gods and mortals. Rao is an unparalleled hero like Luo Wuliang. In his early years, he once inspired to transcend, but later gradually smoothed his edges and recognized reality. Buzz buzz, that vague and strange shadow rippled like water, and finally revealed only 2 words, which shook the mind like the sound of a bell. Kunlun, Kunlun. Luo Wuliang frowned, a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. What surprised him was that the Lord of the 9 netherworld did not hold the matter accountable. The destruction of the 9 nether legion was just an insignificant number, not worth mentioning at all. On the contrary, the Lord of 9 nethers showed special concern for Kunlun realm. The conversation lasted for half a stick of incense. Then, the huge cold and dark shadow dissipated in an instant, and the token returned to Luo Wuliang's hand. Luo Wuliang's eyes were dark and unclear, and his mood was complicated. He really didn't understand why the Lord of the 9 nethers valued the Kunlun realm so much. Even if it was an eternal world, even if it recuperated and developed later, the threat it posed to the 9 nethers would be very limited. Is it necessary to attach such importance to it? But as a subordinate, he can only execute orders. Pass my order to start the meeting of the 10 clans. At the same time, in an unknown and mysterious space, a strange figure that constantly switches between illusion and entity sits quietly on the bone throne. He is one of the top beings in the universe, the ruler of the 9 nether realm, the Nether Emperor. Emperor Yu's gaze was profound, as if he had passed through endless galaxies and landed on that magnificent planet. His lips slowly uttered a few words. Everything comes in time. Window. _Tabula equals window. _Tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article thumbnail. 300 by 250 feet. Placement. Below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet. Target _type. Mix. Chapter 702 Kneeling on the ground and looking at the scenery. There is no doubt that the Holy Realm fought a very beautiful battle, which made countless cultivators in the starry sky dare not underestimate it. However, there are also rumors that the reason why the Holy Realm was able to overcome the difficulties was actually because of the secret assistance of the strong men sent by the Divine Court, but this has not been confirmed. At present, it is just a guess. In any case, the influence of the Holy Realm has expanded a lot. Many cultivators outside the domain dare not regard it as a small holy world that has just developed, but an existence that can be compared with a large holy world. Some people even proposed to include the Holy Realm in the top 100 realms of the Divine Court, but this proposal was not adopted by the top leaders of the Divine Court. Although the Holy Realm today has not entered the top 100 on the surface, it has already become one in the minds of many cultivators. Black and White Realm. Sao family. Peach Blossom Immortal, Peach Blossom Immortal, look what I brought to you. Sao Ji rushed into the room excitedly, holding a large bouquet of carefully prepared pink flowers in his hand. The petals were as bright as crystal, and the buds were delicate and charming, exuding a charming fragrance. This is not an ordinary flower, it has a strong holy charm flowing on it, and each one is a holy product. It is extremely expensive in the market. And Cao Ji spent a lot of money to buy all these flowers, wanting to dedicate them to his favorite peach immortal in his heart. A closer look showed that his condition was different from before, that is, his complexion was much worse, his body was much thinner, as if he had been severely squeezed before. At this time, Cao Ji brought a large bouquet of flowers, pushed open the door directly, and entered the room with interest. Result: the scene in front of him made him dumbfounded, and a large bouquet of flowers in his hand fell to the ground. What came into view? It was an extremely eye-catching scene. Several of his brothers stood aside as if they were queuing, each with greedy and obsessed eyes, staring at the woman on the bed who was as tempting as a vixen. There were two figures on the bed, a man and a woman. Seeing Cao Ji suddenly barging in, Bo Chengli rolled his eyes and said unhappily, "You idiot, you have no manners at all, you disturbed the mood of me and your brother." Cao Ji was stunned, a huge sense of shame surged in his heart. He was so angry that he was shaking all over, pointing at the woman on the bed, his eyes were red with anger and said, You bitch are so shameless. You hooked up with my brothers. Doing dirty things here." Cao Ji really didn't expect that the woman he brought back was so outrageous, not only hooked up with his brothers but also blatantly brought them to the room. It's a pity that he was so sincere, but it was all wasted. Bo Chengli was not angry, he chuckled, "Look, your good brother is blaming me." The next second, Cao Ji's brothers all looked over and stared at him viciously. This scene scared Cao Ji's back cold. "Eighth brother, you shouldn't be so rude to immortal Peach Blossom. Kneel down and admit your mistakes." The one who spoke was Cao Wu, the heroic man on the bed, the eldest. Cao Wu held the woman beside him with one hand, his eyes were cold, and he was very dissatisfied with Cao Ji's words and deeds. Boom! Cao Ji felt a great pressure from the saint, and his knees couldn't help but kneel down, and his bones in his body cracked. "Brother, you..." Cao Ji couldn't believe it. He was the youngest among all the brothers, but he was the most valued and cared for by his eldest brother. Now, his most respected eldest brother was with his woman, and he turned around and forced him to kneel down and admit his mistakes. This made Cao Ji feel like the sky had fallen. "Young master, you are so good to me." Bo Chengli snuggled in Cao Wu's arms, with a meaningful mouth. Among them, Cao Wu had the highest cultivation, was in the realm of heavenly saint, was the least affected by her, and needed to be guided step by step. As for the others, they were all obediently at her mercy. Since Bo Chengli was brought to the Cao family in the black and white world, he first broke through to the 10th level of the semi-saint with the help of Cao Ji, and then hooked up with several other brothers, first the 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, etc., which allowed Bo Chengli to break through to the realm of true saint in one fell swoop. Bo Chengli did not stand still, but continued to climb up the pole, using the characteristics of the practice to subtly influence his elder brother Cao Wu, and thus came to the present step by step. According to Bo Chengli's initial plan, after completely taking down Cao Wu, the target will be transferred to the head of the Cao family, and finally the Saint King level ancestor. She wants to use the Cao family as a stepping stone to cross to a higher level. In order to speed up the progress, Bo Chengli specially invited all 7 sons of the Cao family to the room today, and she wanted to break through to the realm of heavenly saint in one go. Unexpectedly, this scene would be seen by Cao Ji. But at this point, Bo Chengli no longer needs to hide it. After all, Cao Ji has completely lost his effect on her and has become an insignificant little person. "You bitch." Cao Ji's eyes were red, his teeth were clenched, and veins were popping out along his neck. Snap! Who would have thought that a heavy slap would come? Cao Ji was directly knocked out and hit the wall hard. Half of his face was swollen, blood was flowing from the corner of his mouth, and his head was buzzing. Cao Ji covered his face and groaned in pain. The one who did it was his eldest brother Cao Wu. Cao Wu said coldly, "You forgetful thing, did you ignore my words? Apologize to Peach Blossom Immortal." "That's right, apologize." The other brothers scolded fiercely, as if they were going to tear Cao Ji to pieces. "My dear Immortal, I know I was wrong." Under the pressure of his brothers, Cao Ji knelt on the ground and had to admit defeat. "Don't worry about him, let's continue," Bo Chengli said with a sweet smile. "Okay." Cao Wu looked at the charming woman in his arms, and his evil fire was surging. His other brothers were watching the battle on the side, waiting impatiently for something. Seeing this, Cao Ji was stunned. Unexpectedly, such a ridiculous thing would happen to him one day. If I had known earlier, I shouldn't have brought that bitch. Brother, hurry up, we are all waiting. Go away, how can I be fast for such a thing? Anyway, there will be a share in the back, according to the family ranking. Hearing this, Sao Ji's originally dim eyes suddenly brightened. In this way, doesn't he also have a share? Thinking of the humiliation he suffered before, Sao Ji had the urge to severely ravage this peach blossom immortal. However, a voice full of disgust came, shattering his thoughts, making him feel hopeless and his life fell to the bottom. You few are enough, as for the last one, forget it, let him kneel on the ground and watch. Bo Chengli said contemptuously, what she needs now is a saint, not a half-saint like Sao Ji, not to mention that the other party has been almost sucked by her, and there is no extra value to be squeezed out. For such useless stuff, just kick it. Since the Peach Blossom Immortal said so, eighth brother, you kneel there and watch, remember not to disturb us, otherwise you will be in trouble. Sao Wu ordered while galloping, with an irresistible tone. Yes. Listening to the joyful voice in his ears, Sao Ji silently picked up the flowers on the ground, and a tear slid down his face. He cried. Chapter 703 The Friendship Boat Capsized. Some time passed. The holy world is flourishing and full of vitality, and everything seems to be moving in a good direction. In the heaven, in the elegant attic, two figures were standing in front of a huge mirror. They are Yi Junlin and Lu Wangshu respectively. And what's in the mirror is the envoy from the divine court who was so angry that he broke his defense earlier. When facing these two people again, Wei Wu forced a flattering smile on his face, looking fawning. There is no such thing as the arrogant attitude and the feeling of looking down upon others a few times. At this time, Wei Wu felt extremely complicated. Previously, he was sure that under the offensive of the Juyu Legion, the holy world and the heavenly court would be destroyed, and everything was a foregone conclusion. As a result, things developed far beyond expectations. Directly reverse and slap in the face. The Nine Nether Legion, which terrified countless forces, was completely wiped out in this world. This battle shocked the entire universe. It was even called the most incredible battle in history by some powerful figures, one worthy of being recorded in the annals of history. Juyu's face was completely lost, and the prestige of the holy world increased greatly. At the same time, this also caused a change in the attitude of Shenting's top management, and they re-examined this special world that has risen strongly, or the organization of heaven. After all, Juyu and Shenting have never dealt with each other. The conflicts have accumulated over time and lasted for eternity. It would be the best thing to see the other side suffer. Now that the holy world has won a great victory, its influence is unprecedented and it has great strategic value. This has forced the divine court to change their views and pay special attention to it. In addition, the competition for Kunlun realm is becoming more and more fierce, so Shenting decided to use a group of people from the Holy Realm to contain Juyu. Therefore, Wei Wu, as an envoy to communicate with the Holy World, was ordered to die by the higher-ups of Shenting. He must communicate well with Yi Junlin and the others to thwart the plan of the Nine Nether Strongmen to invade the Kunlun realm. Wei Wu felt so miserable. After all, he had had unpleasant experiences before, and now he had to lick his face to please others. Just thinking about it made him feel very embarrassed and uncomfortable. You too, this is what happened. Shenting hopes that you can intervene in this battle and prevent the powerful Nine Netherworld from invading the Kunlun realm. And I remember that Senior Lu is also from that world, so he will not sit idly by and watch. Wei Wu smiled flatteringly. Lu Wangshu frowned, you don't need to say anything about this. Kunlun realm is my hometown. Of course I won't just watch it fall into the hands of Juyu. As for your divine court, in my eyes, Lu, it is the same as Juyu. You are like a fool. Wei Wu's smile froze on his face. Before, he would have scolded Lu Wangshu in person, but now he just smiled awkwardly and said nothing. Yi Junlin rubbed his chin, with a strange look in his eyes. It seems that the Kunlun world has changed a lot during my absence. It has returned to its heyday. This potential is indeed not comparable to that of the ordinary world. According to the information disclosed by Wei Wu, he also learned about the current situation of Kunlun realm. Today's Kunlun world has returned to its former heyday. Although it cannot be said to be a true holy world, it is still a level that has half a foot in it. It can be seen from this that Kunlun realm does have extraordinary potential. After such a long period of downturn, it can still return to its peak. Given time, you may not be unable to be at the forefront of this era. Facing the prosperous Kunlun realm, Juyu and Shenting began to make wishful thinking again, and the battle for the Kunlun realm was about to enter a fierce stage. Yi Junlin knew very well that the reason why Shenting's attitude towards him changed was simply because he wanted to use him to contain Juyu, so that the snipe and the clam would fight and the fisherman would benefit. Senior Yi, I have to trouble you more about this matter. I believe that with your intervention, Juyu's plan will definitely come to fruition. I hope you can show off your power again. Wei Wu gritted his teeth and said with a strong smile. Unexpectedly, Yi Junlin stared at him silently for a while, making Wei Wu feel uncomfortable inside, and finally sighed. To be honest, I still like the way you were unruly back then. Now that you are like this, even if I humiliate you, it's boring. There was a sense of regret inside and outside the words. Wei Wu seemed to have eaten a dead rat, the muscles in the corners of his eyes twitched wildly, and his face turned blue and white. After a moment, he cautiously tried, if Senior Yi has such request, I can also go back to the way I was before. You see. Go away, you idiot. Yi Junlin threw down his sleeves in disgust, and saw the huge mirror flash, and Wei Wu's figure disappeared without a trace. In a world far away, Wei Wu looked at the disappearing scene in the mirror and froze on the spot. After a while, he realized what he was doing and made a sound like a groundhog in anger. Hold, heaven, seeing this scene, Lu Wangshu was a little speechless. Then he thought of what he just mentioned and said in a deep voice, Little friend Yi, it seems that the Kunlun world is going to be in big trouble. Both Shenting and Juyu are coveting this world. What we are going to face. The pressure is not that great. He would not regard Shenting as his own camp. He thought that the other party would be so kind to help Kunlun realm. In fact, he had planned it for a long time and wanted to control Kunlun realm. However, compared to Juyu's radical approach, Shenting's approach is relatively conservative. Hear the words. Yi Junlin's thoughts couldn't help but go back to the Kunlun realm and what happened there at that time. Unknowingly, a feeling of nostalgia welled up in my heart. It seems that it is time for him to return to Kunlun realm to meet those old friends. In this case, I will take this opportunity to go back and leave the heavenly court to you. Yi Junlin said. Don't worry, I will handle the affairs here. Lu Wangshu said seriously. He is the recognized second in command of the heavenly court. If Yi Junlin is not here, he will have a certain degree of dominance, which is a well-known fact. Well, I will ask Zhao Hong and the others if they want to go back together. Thinking of this, Yi Junlin's figure flashed and disappeared on the spot. What made him depressed was that Hong Chenyi and Li Wuji were both in retreat, so there were only the last two left. Wherever the master goes, Shushu will go. In a paradise. Bai Xiaoxi wore a dress that was below the knee, her skin was white as jade, her figure was petite and cute, her shoulder-length silver short hair was very recognizable, each strand of hair was crystal clear, her face was white and tender, her eyes were gentle, and she looked timid, which easily aroused people's desire to protect her. When she learned that Yi Junlin was going back to Kunlun realm, Bai Xiaoxi said with a smile, wherever the master goes, Shushu will go. Yi Junlin touched her head, with a doting smile on his lips. Well, let's go see your fourth junior brother first. Bai Xiaoxi is now in the realm of Immortal Emperor. After all, the Deluo immortal body is here. Even if she doesn't practice, she can cultivate here by breathing. It's a pity that the times have changed. In the heavenly court, the saints are the first echelon of combat power. The former immortal emperor can only be reduced to the third line and completely withdraw from the big stage. But if it is limited to the level of immortal emperor, Bai Xiaoxi is very strong, so strong that it is outrageous. For example, an immortal emperor like the previous Luantian blood emperor can't last a few rounds in Bai Xiaoxi's hands. Even Tong Wudi in the immortal emperor period, with the help of the heavenly Tao, it is difficult to compete with Bai Xiaoxi at this stage. This is the horror of the Deluo immortal body, which is known as the first among the immortal bodies in the heavens. Yi Junlin took Bai Xiaoxi to the location of the Great Mushroom King. It is worth mentioning, the Great Mushroom King came to the heavenly court a while ago, and is now also at the level of the immortal emperor. His situation is rather special, because his original body is a medicine clan. Unless he transforms into a holy medicine, it is difficult for him to break through the boundaries of the immortal path. In the courtyard, two figures seemed to be discussing something. Among them, the Great Mushroom King was dressed in green, with a signature mushroom head, and a touch of unyielding temperament between his eyebrows. At this time, he was having a fierce discussion with another young man. The young man was dressed in a red Qilin robe, with a majestic demeanor, arguing with the Great Mushroom King with a red face, as if he insisted on his own ideas. He was very famous in the former immortal court, and his main job was treatment. He had treated many injured strong men. In the Kunlun realm, he has a familiar name, that is, Medicine Master. Yi Junlin was not unfamiliar with Medicine Master. He remembered that when he was recruiting his fourth disciple, the other party had set a trap in Medicine King Valley. On the surface, it was to attract human cultivators to collect herbs, but in reality, it had a strong suppressive effect on cultivation. If it weren't for his characteristic of becoming stronger when facing a strong opponent, he would have been suppressed and humiliated by a group of spiritual medicines. Later, he learned from the Big Mushroom King that Medicine Master's body was a Qilin immortal medicine, and there was no news after ascending to the Immortaland. A while ago, the Big Mushroom King came to the Heavenly Palace and accidentally discovered the figure of Medicine Master. After a long time, the old friends met again, and naturally they were deeply moved. They talked about everything and expressed their feelings to each other. I thought the friendship between the two had returned to the past, but when Yi Junlin came, he saw them quarreling and couldn't help feeling a little confused. Your concept is wrong. According to your practice, these potions can only treat the symptoms but not the root cause, and the effect will get worse and worse. The Big Mushroom King argued. Yao Zun was so angry that his face turned red and his neck became thick. He slammed the table and said, "You stinky mushroom, I have been studying potions for so many years, and you completely deny me as soon as you come. I think you are targeting me on purpose." It turned out that the Big Mushroom King found that the potions that Yao Zun equipped with the soldiers of the Heavenly Court had certain defects, so he proposed to correct them. This made Yao Zun's self-esteem unacceptable. He felt that his professionalism was questioned and was very embarrassed. So, the two sides quarreled because of this. Yi Junlin figured out the cause and effect, shook his head and sighed, "Hey, this friendship vote can be overturned." Just as the two were still arguing, Yi Junlin came over to interrupt their remarks. "Stop arguing." The two were stunned, turned their heads and looked, and their faces changed. The Big Mushroom King hurriedly stepped forward respectfully, "Disciple greets Master." "Greetings to the Emperor of Heaven." Yao Zun bowed quickly and did not dare to act rashly. "You are all arguing about the potion, right? In that case, for the sake of fairness, Xiao He, you should also make your own potion and distribute some to various departments of the Heavenly Court, so that everyone can use it to decide which one is better," Yi Junlin said seriously. The Great Mushroom King was stunned for a moment, knowing that this was an opportunity to prove himself, and nodded, "Yes, Master." "Medicine Master, what do you think?" Yi Junlin turned his eyes to the young man and said seriously. Medicine Master's heart trembled, and he did not dare to object at all. "I think what the Emperor said is reasonable. If his potion is more effective than mine, then I will definitely follow his ideas without any hesitation. After all, the Lord of the Heavenly Court has spoken, and it is so fair and just, what else can he say?" "Very good." Yi Junlin smiled and looked at the Great Mushroom King again. "Xiao He, do you want to go to Kunlun Realm with me?" Hearing this, the Great Mushroom King's eyes lit up. "Master is going back to Kunlun Realm. Then I want to go with him." Kunlun Realm. These words touched Yao Zun's heartstrings at once. As a person who ascended to the Immortaland in ancient times, even after many years, he still has a deep nostalgia for the ancestral star. At this time, seeing that Yi Junlin was going to Kunlun Realm, Yao Zun couldn't help but say, "Emperor of Heaven, can you take me with you?" Chapter 704 The Yin Emperor is born. "Oh, you also want to go to Kunlun Realm?" Yi Junlin's eyes flashed. "Yes, I am originally from the Kunlun world. After so many years, I also want to take this opportunity to see how my hometown is developing," Yao Zun said seriously. In the past, there were regulations in the immortal world that no living beings were allowed to leave the immortal world privately. Now, although the situation has improved, private visits to the lower world are still strictly controlled. Even if he is a member of the heaven with an official position, he must be restricted in this regard. There is no way, these are the rules. The original intention is to prevent some people from causing harm to one party and destroying the balance of other worlds. As the Lord of Heaven, Yi Junlin can break the rules. After all, he is the maker of all rules. Therefore, taking this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Yao Zun wanted to follow Yi Junlin back to the Kunlun Realm. Yi Junlin nodded, "Since you have this heart, it doesn't hurt to come with me." Then, with the help of a heavenly teleportation array, they officially set foot on the space passage to the Kunlun Realm. Kunlun World, this ancient world with a long heritage, has finally returned to its peak period amidst the expectations of all living beings. There are many immortals in prosperity. Looking at the 5 major domains, it can be said that the immortal kings are everywhere and there are as many immortal kings as dogs. I remember that when Yi Junlin ascended to the immortal realm before, the laws of heaven and earth in the Kunlun realm were limited to creatures below the immortal realm. Now, let alone an immortal, even a saint has the conditions to be born. Countless monks lamented that this was the best era in the Kunlun world. Here, their upper limit has been raised. It would have been difficult to become an immortal a long time ago. Eastern region. This place is known as the first of the 5 major regions. That's right, it's the Eastern region. In the past, the Central region was the first of the 5 regions. Later, due to the appearance of a legendary figure, the direction of the East region gradually changed, and it was considered the first of the 5 regions by the majority of monks. That legendary figure has turned the tide many times, saved buildings from falling, and saved the world. This is the belief in the hearts of countless monks. He is the leader of the Immortal Alliance, the first alliance in the world, and the co-leader of the 5 domains recognized by everyone. After many years, his influence has not diminished. Although he is no longer in the Kunlun world, legends about him are still circulating. Shanmeng headquarters. An old man in green clothes with a long sword on his back, stroking his goatee, looked like a immortal and a master from this world. Even though he deliberately restrained himself, his temperament was still sharp, with wisps of terrifying sword intent surging around him. Looking at the sunny scene outside, Qinglian Sword Immortal looked a little emotional. He was just an immortal emperor many years ago, but now he has cultivated to the realm of immortal lord, and it is possible to challenge the immortal emperor in the future. As the deputy leader of the Immortal Alliance and acting as the leader to preside over the overall situation, Qinglian Sword Immortal did not get carried away, but worked conscientiously and did not dare to relax at all. Under his hard work, the situation in the 5 major regions is good, and there is a virtuous cycle in the cultivation environment. It has created a grand occasion where talents emerge in large numbers and there are many talented people. For this, Qinglian Sword Immortal is indispensable. It is precisely because of this that his status in the Kunlun world is very high, and his reputation is almost as high as that of the leader who has left for a long time. Even some voices in the Immortal Alliance began to say that Qinglian Sword Immortal was qualified to succeed as the leader of the alliance. Even if he served as the leader of the alliance, it was justifiable. For this part of the voice, Qinglian Sword Immortal immediately warned him that he did not want to hear such remarks again. In his mind, the position of alliance leader will always be held by that man. Even if he never comes back, what if he becomes the deputy alliance leader for the rest of his life? The position of leader is irreplaceable except for that one. If anyone dares to speak nonsense again, Qinglian Sword Immortal will kill him with one sword as a warning to others. Under this extremely intimidating effect, the Immortal Alliance was completely silent, and no one dared to mention this matter again. Leader Yi, it would be great if you could come back and take a look. Qinglian Sword Immortal's eyes seemed to be filled with memories as he murmured. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying aura rose into the sky in the distance, erupting like a volcano that had been gathering momentum for a long time. This breath is very evil and has a biting coldness. It seems to freeze everything in the world and destroy all living things. Who is it? Qinglian Sword Immortal's heart trembled, and his pupils were shaking, showing deep fear. Because of this aura, at least an immortal emperor was born. As the deputy leader of the Immortal Alliance, he knows all the information about the powerful people in Kunlun realm. Logically speaking, it is impossible to miss it. How could such a powerful immortal emperor appear out of nowhere? The most important thing is that this aura is full of darkness and coldness, and does not seem to be taking the right path. Oops, if that guy wants to mess around, the good situation of Kunlun realm will be ruined. Thinking of the possible consequences of this, Qinglian Sword Immortal's eyes suddenly became clouded. We must inform fellow Taoist Long. With his ability, he may have the power to check and balance. The fellow Taoist Long in his mouth was naturally Long Aoshan. After Yi Junlin left, Long Aoshan became the strongest person in the Kunlun world, far more powerful than him. Recently, I heard that he was about to break through to the realm of the Immortal Emperor and was in a bottleneck period. Therefore, Qinglian Sword Immortal immediately thought of him. Although fellow Taoist Long has an arrogant personality and doesn't look down on anyone except Alliance leader Yi, but out of past friendship, he should intervene in this matter and will not stand idly by. After making up his mind, Qinglian Sword Immortal flashed forward and turned into a majestic green sword light and rushed into the distance. At the same time, this dark and cold terrifying aura spread rapidly in the east region. The originally bright sky was instantly covered with dark clouds and extremely depressing. The cultivators in the east region were terrified and felt cold all over. They felt that a disaster was coming. What's going on? The source of this aura seems to be from Xuantian sect. Xuantian sect? Isn't that the sect where Senior Yi came from? Hiss, I always feel something is not good. Do we have to run away in advance? Don't panic, everyone. With the Immortal Alliance, the Kunlun realm will not be in chaos. Discussions arose. The mood of panic and anxiety permeated the East region. At this moment, Xuantian sect was greatly shocked because the source of this aura came from them. A huge black light column shot up into the sky, and a strange laugh came from it. The weirdest thing was that this strange laugh was a little childish, like a young child, and the voice seemed to be deliberately controlled, which seemed to be more sharp. Hey. After being sealed for so long, I'm out again. The black light column gradually dissipated, revealing a short boy with a flat crown on his head and dark red clothes. He looked about 7 or 8 years old, but he was cunning and evil. His skin color was also abnormal, with a faint dark blue color, like a corpse that had been dead for a long time. His face had a dark smoky makeup, which looked very exaggerated. It was as if he wanted to announce to the world all the time that he was a super evil villain. Miss Liu, that guy finally came out. In the courtyard of the Yunxian island, all living creatures felt numb and their hearts were shocked. And at the mouth of the well, the remaining smoke had not disappeared, and wisps of cold air were emanating. That weird little boy rushed out of this well. The other party called himself the Yin Emperor, an out-and-out old monster. In his early years, because of practicing some special magic skills, his body became like a child forever. Yindi was extremely famous in the ancient Kunlun realm. He was a great demon that frightened countless cultivators in that era. His hands were stained with the blood of many immortal emperor-level masters. He was recognized as the #1 in the magic world at that time. There were almost no immortal emperor-level masters who could compete with him head-on. He was once the most popular. When the 4 supreme masters of Kunlun realm were still there, Yindi was restrained and did not dare to act rashly. Later, when the 4 supreme masters were in trouble, Yindi had evil thoughts and led the magic world to control the dominance of Kunlun realm. In a hurry, Lu Wangshu negotiated with him to fight the enemy together. Although Yindi had a strange temperament and great ambitions, he also knew the importance of the matter, so he temporarily agreed. Later, the 9 Nether army attacked, and Yindi fulfilled his promise to lead the magic monks to fight with them, killing them so hard that the starry sky trembled. Later, the 9 Nether army was destroyed by the formation laid by Lu Wangshu. Seeing that the battle was settled, Yindi planned to have a final decisive battle to completely seize the dominance of Kunlun realm. That battle was so intense that the sky was dark and the mountains and rivers were broken. In the end, the Yin Emperor was defeated and trapped by the formation set up by Lu Wangshu, and sealed in the bottom of the well of the Yunxian island. In fact, he was going to die at that time, and all the immortal emperors proposed to kill him to eliminate the trouble forever. At the last moment, it was Lu Wangshu who overcame all the opposition and decided to keep Yin Emperor alive and seal him in the bottom of the well to reflect on his mistakes as a punishment, considering that Yin Emperor had indeed made great contributions to protecting Kunlun realm. After so many years, the seal was still in good condition. Unexpectedly, as the environment of Kunlun realm returned to its heyday, Yin Emperor's power also recovered, breaking through the shackles of the seal in one fell swoop and seeing the light of day again. At this time, looking at the arrogant dwarf figure in the sky, the creatures in the courtyard who knew his origin were so scared that they had to pin their hopes on that willow tree. In those days, it was the only one who could fight Yin Emperor. Emperor Yin, you are so insolent. Suddenly, an ethereal and majestic female voice came from the yard and echoed in the sky. In the yard, the willow tree was glowing, and a hazy figure vaguely emerged, revealing a powerful aura. Chapter 705 Enemies Meet. The Yin Emperor frowned, looked at the courtyard below, and sneered, who did I think it was? It turned out to be you, this broken tree. It's been so many years, and you are still so ignorant. As a giant of the magic path at that time, he knew the origin of Lu Shu very well. Liao Shu, like him, was among the top immortal emperors, and the world called her Emperor Lu. The other party played a big role in the immortal emperors who participated in suppressing him, and it can be said that they had a grudge. Now, he finally broke free from the seal and saw the light of day again, and Emperor Lu was one of the enemies he wanted to get rid of the most. When enemies meet, they naturally don't have a good face. Emperor Lu said coldly, it's you who is ignorant of the world. If you hadn't insisted on your own way and made a big mistake, how could you have been sealed by Lu Taishang? Now you want to repeat the same mistake again. The Yin Emperor's face changed drastically, and the breath of his whole body suddenly stagnated. The seal that lasted for thousands of years left him with deep and painful memories, and he had a huge psychological shadow on the well. To be honest, he would not want to go back even if he was beaten to death. What a painful realization that was. Suddenly, Emperor Yin seemed to think of something, and a meaningful smile appeared on his face. Don't scare me, don't think I don't know, that Lu had already led people to leave Kunlun realm, and I knew everything about this great migration plan. Emperor Lu was silent. She originally wanted to use this to deter the other party, so that the other party would not dare to act recklessly, but she was found out. Emperor Lu knew very well that once he was freed from the shackles, he would definitely turn the Kunlun realm upside down with his temper. After all, in the current Kunlun realm, the strongest combat power is only her and Emperor Yin. But she and the other party are evenly matched, and no one can guarantee a steady win. If they really fight, it will inevitably cause considerable damage. You know, now the Kunlun realm is thriving, and the situation is very good. If she is hit by this, she will be a sinner for all eternity. So, what she can do is to try to stabilize the other party. He, I was right. Now you are the only one in this world who can barely be my opponent. If you know what's good for you, I won't bother you, but if you insist on making trouble, I don't mind playing with you. Yin Di laughed strangely. Seeing the facts, he was instantly full of confidence, and the black mist on his body was like a wolf's smoke, rushing straight to the sky. He has coveted the position of the Lord of Kunlun realm for a long time. At the beginning, he finally waited for an opportunity, but was destroyed by Lu Wangshu and others, and sealed him at the bottom of the well for tens of millions of years. And now, facing this new era, no one can stop his ambition, and his advantage is directly maximized. The vision of dominating the Kunlun realm is finally coming true. In the yard, such provocative words made Emperor Lu feel very dissatisfied. Do you really think I can't do anything to you? Thousands of green willow branches were swaying wildly, like wild snakes dancing across the sky, releasing an overwhelming momentum. A hazy figure was like a dream, stepping up to the sky, stunning the world. Xuantian sect was silent. Sect Master Shu Union was confused. He couldn't understand why these two super bosses suddenly appeared in his sect. It seemed that they were going to fight. Sect Master, what should we do? The Peak Masters asked anxiously. Shu Union had a bitter mouth and was depressed. What can I do in this situation? Hey, let it be up to fate. He sighed. Swish. A green sword light hovered in the air and turned into the appearance of an old man in green. When he saw this scene, Qinglian's sword immortal was almost numb. What's going on? So there is more than one immortal emperor. Boom. In the midst of countless shocked gazes, two powerful figures confronted each other from a distance. The collision between the two sides' momentum formed turbulent air ripples, rippling circles visible to the naked eye. Seeing this, Emperor Yin's eyes showed a trace of fear. After all, he had experienced Emperor Lu's strength, and he was considered a powerful rival back then. If they really fight, even if he can win in the end, he will have to pay a certain price. It seems that you are determined to go against me. Emperor Yin's voice was shrill, with the childishness of a child, and revealed a sense of ruthlessness which seemed very inconsistent. Suddenly, a high-pitched dragon roar came from afar, and an immortal emperor-level breath quickly approached. A dark golden dragon, like a steel-cast dragon, bared its fangs and claws, and descended here with a terrifying momentum, and then turned into a tall man with a handsome appearance and a tall body, with a pair of sharp dragon horns on his head, and a domineering posture. Fellow Taoist Long, the Green Lotus Sword Immortal was surprised and delighted to see the newcomer. Yes, this person is Long Aotian. He had also recently broken through to the realm of the Immortal Emperor. He had wanted to calm down and consolidate his cultivation, but he did not expect to be disturbed by the huge commotion today. He was shocked and angry and came to find out what was going on. At this time, Long Aotian looked at the two figures facing each other from a distance, and a hint of surprise flashed across his eyes. He was very familiar with the willow tree, having seen it before in the courtyard of the Immortal Island. As for the strange dwarf, he felt an extremely dangerous aura from him. Could this person be the Yin Emperor of the past? Thinking of the description of a great demon a long time ago, Long Aotian's pupils trembled and he murmured. At that time, he was only an immortal emperor, and he had only heard rumors about him, which was as famous as thunder. Later, he was unaware of the immortal emperor war because he had been sealed and fell asleep early. I really didn't expect to meet the big man in this era. He thought that the other party had left Kunlun realm long ago. The Yin Emperor was slightly startled, and a smile of interest appeared at the corner of his mouth. What a pure five-clawed golden dragon. Since you know my identity, you should be sensible and be loyal to me as soon as possible. Become my noble mount. This is your supreme honor. In the words, he had already regarded Long Aotian as a predetermined mount. What kind of personality does Long Aotian have? Hearing this, a strong anger suddenly surged in his heart, and his whole body instantly burst out with surging momentum, and the dragon's might rushed straight to the sky, sweeping in all directions. You dare to take me as your mount, you are not worthy. Roar, an exciting dragon roar sounded, as if to roar to shatter the endless mountains and rivers, only to see Long Aotian leap up with amazing momentum, raised his claws and fiercely grabbed the dwarf. Dragon Claw Hand. This attack was extremely powerful. Who knew that the Yin Emperor just smiled disdainfully, raised his hand and slapped it casually, just like slapping a bug, and slapped Long Aotian and himself down. Boom! The mountain collapsed instantly with a rumble, raising a huge cloud of dust. A hand could be vaguely seen hanging outside in the rubble. Fuck! Seeing this, Shu Union and the others were so scared that their scalps almost exploded, and their eyes were filled with fear. This is Long Aotian who has already broken through the Immortal Emperor, but he is not a match for that weird dwarf with one move. He was killed instantly. The Green Lotus Sword Immortal murmured, is this the strength of the ancient giants? Even the strongest of this era was suppressed by one hand. The gap in strength between the two sides was too big. Boom! A tall figure in the form of a dragon rushed out from the rubble, standing in the air, with its dragon tail swinging slowly. Ahem! There was blood at the corner of Long Aotian's mouth, and the scales on his body were almost broken, oozing some golden blood. He looked very embarrassed, not as majestic as when he first appeared. He looked at the dwarf with deep fear. Yes, if it was an ordinary immortal emperor, the blow just now would have cost him at least half his life. You are really rare, and you are indeed qualified to be my mount. The Yin Emperor's eyes showed a strange color, and he nodded in appreciation. You. As soon as these words came out, Long Aotian's self-esteem was further stimulated, and he was so angry that he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. It would be a lie to say that he didn't feel frustrated. After all, he is now an immortal emperor, but he was defeated so easily by this old generation of immortal emperor. In fact, it was not easy for Long Aotian to do this. After all, he was just a newly promoted immortal emperor. Even if he tried his best, he would still be in the second-tier ranks, while Yindi was at the top level of the super first tier. A casual blow was not something Long Aotian could bear. After recognizing the difference in strength, he felt very uncomfortable. If he was given enough time to catch up, he might be able to compete with him. Still not convinced, Yindi raised his hand playfully and slapped it again. With his strength, he was able to play with Long Aotian in the palm of his hand. In the horrified eyes of the crowd, the huge black palm print pressed down like the sky. Not good. Long Aotian was shocked and gritted his teeth to resist. At this moment, a willow branch with a green glow broke through the void, carrying a terrifying energy wave and forcibly breaking the huge black palm print. Seeing that he had escaped the crisis, Long Aotian cast a grateful look at the hazy figure and said in awe, "Thank you for your help." The Yin Emperor's eyes turned cold, and he said dissatisfiedly, "Broken Willow Tree, you are determined to go against me. This junior has great potential, I don't allow you to touch him." The Emperor Lu said coldly, "Now, let me be your opponent." She felt that a big battle was inevitable. "Okay, I've been waiting for you to say this. I want to see if you have made any progress in this period of time." The corner of the Yin Emperor's mouth curled up a cruel smile, and his whole body released an extremely terrifying aura. The Emperor Lu raised his hand to summon countless willow branches, each of which contained great power, which could break the stars and penetrate the sun and the moon. Instantly, the battle from the top immortal emperor was about to break out. However, in the next second, a vortex like a wormhole appeared in the sky, as if some kind of space channel had been opened. What's going on? Everyone was shocked. 4 figures walked out of the vortex. The silver-haired young man in the lead, with his hands behind his back, strolled leisurely, and said with satisfaction, "The location is correct, we are indeed back to the East region." "Great, we are back again." Bai Shaoxi was very happy. "Kunlun realm, a long-lost feeling," Yao Zun said with emotion. The Great Mushroom King said nostalgically, "I wonder how everyone in Yaowang Valley is doing." "You can go back and take a look later," Yi Junlin said with a smile. Suddenly, he noticed 2 unfamiliar figures in the sky above Xuantian sect, and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. "This is dollar window underscore tabula equals window underscore tabula. Push mode, thumbs feed 01, container, tabula below article thumbnail, 300 by 250 feet, placement, below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet, target underscore type, mix." Chapter 706 I Want to Be a Good Person. Yi Junlin did not expect that there would be two unfamiliar immortal emperors fighting in the sky above Xuantian sect, which made him a little surprised. Yes, it's Alliance leader Yi. Qinglian Sword Immortal was stunned at first, then widened his eyes and said ecstatically. Am I right? It's Taishang Yi who's back. Shu Yunian and the others shook their bodies and said excitedly. Leader Yi. Long Aoshan's eyes changed, and the picture of the past appeared in his mind again. That invincible man, as long as he was around, he could turn the tide and suppress all enemies in the world. Even now, when he thinks about it, he can't help but feel excited. Haha, it's very lively. Yi Junlin took one step forward and came to Xuantian sect. His silver hair was dancing slowly, and he had an aloof temperament. Sir Yi, it's really Mr. Yi. All the disciples and elders were excited, looking at this legendary figure of Xuantian sect with feverish eyes. Master Yi Island, you are actually able to come down from the immortal world. It seems that you have already established close contact with Taishang Lu. Emperor Lu was a little surprised, but then he regained his composure and thought it was logical. In her opinion, since Yi Junlin was able to teleport from the immortal realm to the Kunlun realm openly, he must have said hello to Lu Wangshu, who was in charge of the immortal court. This relationship was strong enough. After all, after so many years, none of the monks who ascended to the immortal world have ever come down. You don't need to guess to know that there are strict restrictions on this. However, Yi Junlin was able to come down with such swagger. He must have said hello to the senior officials of Shanting, and this is why he has such privileges. Emperor Lu definitely didn't know that the immortal world was already a thing of the past. Now it was heaven that made the decision, and the Lord of Heaven was Yi Junlin. As the supreme ruler, he could naturally come and go as he pleased. Are you, Miss Lu? Yi Junlin saw her identity and recognized the other person as the willow tree in the courtyard of Immortal Island. Exactly down there, Emperor Lu said. Who is this kid? Yi Junlin turned his eyes to the dwarf on the other side and asked curiously. Hearing that he was called a child, Emperor Yin was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. He said angrily, Hey, I am not a child. I am the great demon who slaughtered the world, Emperor Yin. Negative. Yi Junlin looked strange, and this title made him think wrongly. It's very dirty, everyone understands it. You, what's your expression? Are you looking down on me? Seeing the other party showing this strange expression, Emperor Yin suddenly felt humiliated and said angrily. Ahem, where did you come from? Why did you appear in Xuantian sect? Yi Junlin asked this question. Master Yi Island, let me explain. He was a big demon in the ancient Kunlun period. Later, because he made a huge mistake, he was sealed at the bottom of the well by Lu Taishang and a group of powerful men. The dry well inside, now he breaks through the seal with the help of the changes in the world, and wants to continue to do evil. Quote. Emperor Lu explained. Oh, Yi Junlin narrowed his eyes slightly, in other words, he deserves to die. The tone contained a chilling murderous intent. Emperor Yin's heart skipped a beat. For some reason, it seemed that silver-haired young man could really determine his life or death with one word. Emperor Lu quickly explained. Master Yi Island, this is wrong. Although Emperor Yin made a big mistake, he also made important contributions to resisting the foreign armies. It was precisely because of this that Lu Taishang deliberately keep him. I hope he can reflect on himself during the sealing period and continue to fight for the Kunlun realm in the future. Hear this. Yi Junlin's expression softened a little, and he looked at Emperor Yin no longer as if he were looking at a dying person, but with a little more interest. In this case, since you are not bad in nature and have fought for the Kunlun realm, then I will spare your life. There is a saying, being able to face the crisis of destruction on the ancestral planet and still stand up unswervingly and fight bloody battles is worthy of respect. It is much better than those traitors who are not what they seem and who collude with external forces. That's why Yi Junlin decided to spare Emperor Yin's life, otherwise he could kill Emperor Yin 10,000 times just with a look in his eyes. As powerful as the Supreme Immortal Emperor, he is just an ant in the eyes of the saint. What's more, Yi Junlin is also an ancient saint-level powerhouse who has mastered the king's holy will. This is not something that can be picked out in the entire vast universe. Hear the words. Emperor Yin was furious. This junior was simply baffled. Did he really think that he could easily suppress him by inheriting the mantle of the master of the Immortal Island? You know, even the original Emperor Lu had to unite a group of immortal emperors to trap him, and then set up a formation to seal him. A mere junior, in the eyes of his majestic Emperor Yin, he is considered a fool. Damn it, who said I'm not bad? What you said is the greatest insult to me. Watch the move. The immature child's voice was full of anger, as if being called a good person was the greatest insult to him as a villain. In anger, Emperor Yin summoned all his strength, made a big hand seal with his hand and cast a spell. Extremely Yin destroying heavenly hand. Rumble. A large black handprint appeared, containing vast and extremely Yin power, as if it was going to exterminate all living beings and bring endless pain to the world. Come on, let me see your strength as the new island master of Immortal Island. Emperor Yin said with a ferocious smile. He didn't think that Yi Junlin could block this move. After all, it was one of his strongest trump cards. At the beginning, I relied on this move to overwhelm the defenses of all the immortal emperors, and almost pushed him to a draw. Emperor Yin, you are so bold, you dare to attack Island Master Yi. Emperor Lu was shocked and angry, and immediately tried his best to stop it. She knew very well the importance of Yi Junlin. He was the heir appointed by the previous island master, and he would lead the Kunlun world to counterattack in the future. How could he make mistakes at this critical moment? Leader Yi, Qinglian Sword Immortal and others looked solemn. It is true that Yi Junlin was very powerful in the past and had no rivals in the world, but that was in the past. After ascending to the Immortaland for many years, his strength must have improved, but facing a tough guy like Emperor Yin, the two sides are bound to have a fierce battle. Just when the atmosphere was tense, Yi Junlin raised a playful smile at the corner of his mouth, and his eyes suddenly flashed, as if there was a burst of light. In an instant, the extremely Yin Tianmo hand, which was full of destructive aura, dissipated like wind and sand and turned into nothingness. Puff! The Yin Emperor was struck by lightning, spitting blood, and flew out like a kite with a broken string, falling to the ground, raising a torrent of dust. What's going on? Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned in place, their brains seemed to have crashed and they hadn't reacted yet. The most confused one was our victim. At this time, the Yin Emperor's head was buzzing, and he struggled to get up from the ground. His heart was like a storm, and his eyes looked at Yi Junlin with extreme fear, as if he was looking at a monster. You, what did you do? The Yin Emperor really didn't understand how Yi Junlin did it. During the whole process, he didn't even see the moves clearly, and didn't sense a trace of the fluctuation of the immortal power, and then his big move was instantly broken, and his body was hurt. Yi Junlin smiled playfully. To deal with you, I don't even need to make a move, a look is enough. Although this sounds arrogant, it is an ironclad fact. He really defeated the Yin Emperor with just a glance. No, impossible. The Yin Emperor found it hard to accept all this. After all, he was a giant in the magic world before, and his status was second only to the four masters of Kunlun realm. Now he finally saw the light of day again, and wanted to sweep across the world and dominate this world to realize his former ambitions. As a result, he was easily defeated by a junior in the future. This feeling is more uncomfortable than eating shit. Island Master Yi, you. Emperor Lu was really scared. She tried her best to protect Yi Junlin, but everything that happened next was incredible to her. Is this something that a powerful person at the same level of the immortal emperor can do? Emperor Lu knew that Yi Junlin's talent was extremely evil, and he would probably be an immortal emperor after returning, but to deal with a powerful person like the Yin Emperor, there would definitely be a fierce battle. Unexpectedly, he was defeated in 1 second. The most outrageous thing was that she didn't even see how it was done. This was beyond her previous knowledge and subverted her previous cognition. What about his moves? What about the fluctuation of his immortal power? None at all. Even Emperor Lu was surprised to find that she could not see Yi Junlin's background at all. Judging from her perception, the other party was just like an ordinary person without any cultivation aura. But the more this happened, the more shocked Emperor Lu was. Because this meant that the other party's cultivation was far beyond her perception and was no longer at the same level of life. Could it be that he became a saint? A thought flashed through her mind, and even Emperor Lu was shocked. She looked at Yi Junlin with awe. Looking at the Yin Emperor who was doubting his life, Yi Junlin joked, I see that you are unrepentant. The Yin Emperor gritted his teeth and said, I am not wrong. Have you ever seen a few people who want to reform themselves? That is simply a shame for the demonic path. Oh, Yi Junlin smiled and said, you have backbone, then I won't force you, you go to hell. As he said, his eyes condensed, and a terrifying force gathered invisibly. What? The Yin Emperor felt as if his whole body was squeezed madly, and an absolute force wanted to kill him in this world, and he couldn't resist at all, just as fragile as an ant. For a while, blood burst out all over his body, and his vital signs were rapidly decreasing. When his consciousness was about to fall into darkness, the Yin Emperor suddenly realized it, and shouted hoarsely. I was wrong, Please don't kill me. Oh, what do you mean? Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. The pressure was gone, and Yin Di felt relaxed, and he was just hanging on for a breath. Thinking of what happened just now, there was only great fear in his heart. If it was later, he would really die. He would be completely wiped out from this world. It was because of this that Yin Di felt that it was good to be alive, and there was no need to prove himself. After all, he had been through so many years, and he didn't want to die just like that. Yin Di, whose mood fluctuated greatly, was completely shocked by the strength shown by Yi Junlin. Admitted on the spot. At this moment, in the eyes of countless astonishment, the former demon supreme, humbly knelt on the ground, tears in his eyes, and cried bitterly. I'm sorry, I just want to be a good person now. $window. _Taboola equals window. _Taboola. Push mode, thumbs feed 01, container, Taboola below article thumbnail, 300 by 250 feet, placement, below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet, target _type, mix. Chapter 707 That man is back. Emperor Yin has surrendered, even if he refuses to accept it. If you continue to refuse, your life will be lost here. The most important thing is that the death was too painful. It was not a grand death, but was crushed to death like an ant. This made Emperor Yin feel that death was extremely worthless, and it would be more practical to give in on the spot. Yi Junlin smiled. I guess you know the truth. The Kunlun realm is at the right time to employ people, and the other party has great potential, making it an important target worth cultivating. So, just give it a tap. Leader Yi is so awesome. Qinglian Sword Immortal murmured with tears in his eyes. The man who was invincible back then is still invincible after his return. Leader Yi, do you still remember that I am Xiaolong? Long Aoshan said cautiously, suppressing his excitement. Yi Junlin's eyes fell on Long Aoshan and said with a smile, of course I remember you. You are already in the Immortal Emperor realm, and your cultivation has improved very quickly. Hearing the compliment, Long Aoshan felt happy in his heart, but the corner of his mouth was soon replaced by bitterness. In the past, he had thought about challenging Yi Junlin, but now it seemed that he didn't even have the qualifications to stand in front of him and challenge him. After all, a powerful man like Emperor Yin can be crushed to death at will like a bug. Now he is nothing. Hey, there's no comparison, there's really no comparison. Yi, your majesty Yi. Shu Yunian and the others said tentatively with awe on their faces. Invisibly, there is a layer of estrangement in the relationship. After all, Yi Junlin's performance was so outrageous that he could determine the life and death of Yin Emperor with just one word without even taking any action. Such great magical power was simply unheard of. They were both shocked and in awe. Junior brother Yi, who was once the lowest ranked, has now reached a height that they could not imagine. Not to mention the back, not even a human figure was seen. Therefore, Shu Yunian and the others were a little uneasy, so they called out knowingly, wanting to test Yi Junlin's attitude first. Yi Junlin smiled and said, everyone, I haven't seen you for a long time. I can see that you have all made great progress. The tone is friendly and humorous, without any condescension. Seeing this, Shu Yunian and the others felt relieved, and said with a smile, Mrs. Yi, welcome back. I'm waiting to meet Mr. Yi. The monks of Xuantian sect had fanatical expressions on their faces, and their eyes looked like they were looking at gods. Although there are many rumors that Yi Junlin is the reincarnation of the Emperor of Heaven in ancient times, in the final analysis, he is a legendary figure who came out of Xuantian sect. As Xuantian sect monks, they are all very proud and feel that they are honored. Yi Junlin nodded with a smile on his lips. Subsequently, the news about his return spread from 1 to 10, from 10 to hundreds, and from hundreds to thousands, sweeping across the eastern region like a storm and spreading to every corner of Kunlun realm. Senior Yi is back. Senior Yi is back. Many people shouted excitedly. What? The strongest man in Kunlun realm back then actually came back from the immortal realm. The leader of the Immortal Alliance has returned. I look forward to meeting you soon. Quick, go and see the true face. The 5 major regions are boiling like the sea, and there are a lot of people. Yi Junlin has been away for many years, but because of his huge contributions and various legendary deeds, it is still spread by word of mouth in the Kunlun world. His influence is still very wide and his power remains undiminished. Therefore, after hearing the news, countless monks rushed to the place where the incident occurred, hoping to meet this legendary figure. Misty Peak. After greeting everyone, Yi Junlin returned to his former residence. After visiting it, I felt a little emotional. His eyes fell on the immortal Island, which was like a potted plant. At this time, his realm was enough to see through its doorways. In the past, the internal layout of Immortal Island was like seeing flowers in the fog, and it was difficult to see the whole picture. But now it is crystal clear. All you can see are the mysterious formations that are interlocking and maintaining the operation of Immortal Island. It's like precision gears make up a complete machine, and one move affects the whole body. I have to say that Lu Wangshu is worthy of his reputation as the supreme formation master for being able to create such a masterpiece in that era. You must have noticed that, in fact, the real function of this island is to provide you, as the owner of the island, with a steady stream of power. This power is brought by gathering all the creatures on the island. There is also including me. Suddenly, a beautiful silhouette with a hazy beauty appeared next to it. Under Yi Junline's gaze, it gradually solidified, revealing its true appearance. She has a tall figure, a slender waist and long legs, a delicate and beautiful face, and indifferent and distant eyebrows. She is wearing a green skirt with ripples on the skirt like water waves. The overall look is like an orchid in the empty valley, and an independent temperament. This is a willow tree that has been transformed into an immortal emperor. After its transformation, its appearance is enough to amaze the common people. Facing this person, Emperor Lu lowered his eyebrows and his attitude was very respectful. Yi Junline looked at it for a moment, then looked away. Well, Lao Lu is indeed a generous person, but it's a pity that I don't need it anymore. This is true, after all, at this level, he still needs the help of immortal beings, which is really unreasonable. It's like adding a drop of water to the vast ocean. What changes will it make? These words shocked Emperor Lu, and as if he had received some kind of verification, he cautiously said. I dare to ask Master Yi Island, have you become a true saint? Only a saintly transcendent existence is qualified to say that it does not need the help of Immortal Island. For beings of that level, immortal creatures are indeed not worth mentioning. No, I'm not a true saint. Yi Junline immediately shook his head and denied it, as if admitting that he was a true saint was an insult to him. Isn't it? Lu Di's eyes dimmed, this answer made her feel a little disappointed. But even if he is not a true saint, he must be a half-saint, right? Otherwise, how can we explain that a person like Yindi can be easily controlled? If they are both in the realm of Immortal Emperor, it is absolutely impossible to do this. What Lu Di didn't expect was that Yi Junline meant that he was not a true saint, but a higher level than a true saint. But she couldn't be blamed, who made her vision limited to this? Outside, Yindi huddled up like a poor and helpless child. Thinking of what he had just experienced, he couldn't help but tremble with fear, and his heart was still in shock. My fellow Taoist, I see that you are injured. Do you need me to treat you? The big Mushroom King came over and asked with concern. Yindi was stunned, opened his mouth, and wanted to refuse, but suddenly a young man blocked him in front of him, and a serious voice came from above his head, let me help you treat it, I am more reliable. The speaker was Yao Zun. The great Mushroom King frowned, what do you mean? You want to snatch this from me? For cultivators like me, saving the dying and the wounded is a great act of kindness. How can it be called snatching? Shallow. The medicine master said with disdain. First come, first served. This is mine. The great Mushroom King grabbed Yindi's arm with one hand and said in a deep voice. HMPH, saving people is still based on first come, first served. It's simply ridiculous. Of course, whoever is reliable will do it. The medicine master grabbed Yindi's other arm and said dissatisfiedly. I'll treat it. No, you want me to treat it. The two sides pulled and argued with each other, as if they were fighting for customers. Yindi was constantly pulled left and right, and he was confused throughout the whole process. Although this experience was very fresh, it always felt weird. Is this the treatment for being a good person? Yindi muttered, feeling awe. Chapter 708 I'm so angry. In just half a month, many cultivators gathered in the East region, which made the already bustling East region even more turbulent. Everyone wanted to meet the legendary Senior Yi, a legendary figure who left many glorious deeds in Kunlun realm. During this period, Yi Junline met some familiar faces, all of whom had crossed paths with him before. However, he did not reveal his current identity for the time being, and was ready to wait until the time was right to be open and honest. The cultivators in Kunlun realm did not know that the immortal realm was a thing of the past, and their cognition was still stuck in the past. They did not know that Kunlun realm was about to usher in a major change. The atmosphere was harmonious, and everyone was talking and laughing. Fellow Taoist Yi, how are you? On this day, an old man wearing a dark yellow Taoist robe and looking like a human came to visit with a smile on his face. He was the watchdog of the former Empress Fuyao, the ancestor of the Tengu clan, Go Buli. Go Buli, who came from the central region, was stunned when he saw Yi Junlin. His dog eyes were wide open, and he kept looking up and down, with a look of deep suspicion on his old face. In the past, Yi Junlin could still be seen through in his eyes, but now he can't see through him at all, just like an ant looking up at the starry sky, vast and boundless. It seems that fellow Taoist Yi has made rapid progress in recent years. I admire you. Go Buli resisted the shock in his heart and bowed his hands. Looking at this old man, Yi Junlin smiled and said, "You too, heaven-swallowing dog lord." Boom. When these words came out, it was like a bolt from the blue. Go Buli's dog eyes were wide open, and he couldn't believe it. You actually know my previous name. Wait, did you see my people? Go Buli thought of this and his breathing became extremely rapid. Heaven-swallowing dog venerable was his name in ancient times. After so many years, it has long disappeared in the years. He has never mentioned it again in this era, because this name carries too many beautiful memories for him. After all, he was the greatest glory of the Heavenly Dog clan at that time. He was selected as the watchdog of the Fuyao Empress at a young age, which can be said to be the limelight. Even as strong as the immortal emperor, he had to act according to his face. If he was displeased, he couldn't even get in the door. A dog barking, all races trembled. Later, as time passed, the previous glory dissipated with the wind and disappeared in the long river of history. The name of heaven-swallowing dog venerable was also buried in the deepest part of Go Buli's heart. He was unwilling to mention it again, because it would only increase his longing for the past. Now, Yi Junlin mentioned this name again, like a flying knife piercing the most vulnerable part of his heart. Only the Heavenly Dog clan would record his past glory. Look at how excited you are. Just as you said, I met your people in the Immortaland. They were not doing well at that time, but I helped them solve the problem. To be honest, your people admire you very much and regard you as the symbol of the Tengu tribe. Yi Junlin said with a smile. Hearing this, Go Buli's eyes were instantly moistened, and 2 lines of turbid tears flowed down his face. He choked and said, "My people." The reason why he didn't dare to go to the Immortaland was more to escape reality. He didn't dare to imagine what kind of situation the Tengu tribe would face after leaving him, and whether they were safe after so many years. Fortunately, he heard from Yi Junlin that the situation of the people had improved, which touched Go Buli's heart. Realizing that he had lost his composure, he quickly wiped his tears with his sleeves and bowed deeply again. Thanks to Dao Yi for helping me, Go is very grateful. Yi Junlin waved his hand. It's okay, it's a small matter. Hey, isn't this the watchdog of the former Fuyao Empress? You're still alive. At this time, a rather sharp and childish voice came, full of deep surprise. Go Buli turned his head and found that the person who spoke was a little boy in a dark red robe, with exaggerated dark style makeup on his face, and long black eyeliner, like a ghost, so damn scary. You are the Yin Emperor. Recognizing this former demonic supreme, Go Buli was frightened. This is a super strong man who once made a big fuss in Kunlun realm, and he actually ran into him here. The most important thing is that he has a grudge against the other party. I still remember that when Empress Fuyao was in power, Emperor Yin wanted to pay a visit to her, but was later rejected by him. The reason he gave was very simple, that is, Emperor Yin's dress was too disgusting and could easily arouse the Empress's disgust. Emperor Yin had a dark face and had to go back home in frustration. After all, Go Buli's identity was not something he could change, and the one who supported him was Empress Fuyao. This is why Go Buli felt guilty when he saw Emperor Yin again. The other party is a grudge holder. Emperor Yin sneered. You old guy, now that you have lost the protection of Empress Fuyao, you are just a bastard in my eyes. You'd better give me an explanation for what happened back then, otherwise I will make you look good now. As he said that, he was about to teach Go Buli a lesson. Go Buli's old face was pale, and he was complaining in his heart. He was thinking about how to lower his posture and beg for forgiveness from the other party. Suddenly, a dissatisfied cough sounded, as if it contained some kind of magic, which made the aggressive Emperor Yin kneel down on the spot. Emperor Yin said weakly, Senior Yi, did I do anything to upset you? Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. What do you think? Old Go is my friend after all, but you treat him like this. Do you take me seriously? Hearing this, cold sweat suddenly fell on Yin Di's forehead, and his throat gurgled and swallowed saliva. His heart was full of regret. Seeing this scene, Go Buli was stunned in place, his brain seemed to be down. After a while, he reacted and took a deep breath. Hiss. Go Buli was shocked. This is the former supreme master of the magic way, the famous Yindi. Now, he kneels on the ground and looks afraid of death. In this regard, Go Buli once again refreshed his understanding of this silver-haired young man. Senior Yi, I was wrong. I was impulsive and offended your friend. Please forgive me. Yindi kowtowed quickly. Get out of the way. Yi Junlin said unhappily. Yes. Yindi crawled away as if he had been pardoned. The previous defeat left an indelible shadow in his heart, and he was also indignant that Go Buli had once again taken advantage of him. It was too abominable. He couldn't do anything to this bastard back then. Unexpectedly, even without the Empress Fuyao, he still couldn't do anything to him now. Ah, so angry. Seeing the Yin Emperor fleeing in panic, Go Buli came back to his senses from the shock, and looked at Yi Junlin again with a deep awe, and said with emotion. Fellow Taoist Yi, you are really amazing now. You can easily subdue even such a big devil. Yi Junlin smiled and said, what's that? He can only be a little brother in front of my eldest disciple. Oh, Go Buli's eyes showed a hint of doubt. After all, the information behind this sentence was too great for him to believe. It's okay for you to subdue it, but it's a bit ridiculous that you can even subdue your own disciple, right? After all, that guy is a recognized top immortal emperor. Go Buli didn't think about it and thought Yi Junlin was just talking casually. Window. _tabula equals window. _tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article thumbnail. 300 by 250 feet. Placement. Below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet. Target _type. Mix. Chapter 709I. Chen Xiao, I'm back again. Just as the two were about to continue reminiscing about the past, a huge rumbling sound came from the sky, like millions of thunders exploding wildly, deafening. What's going on? Go Buli was shocked. Yi Junlin was very calm, with a smile on his face. Sure enough, they are here to cause trouble. In the horrified eyes of all living beings, the boundary wall of Kunlun realm was forcibly broken, and a large-scale extraterritorial fleet drove in aggressively, like a steel torrent exuding a majestic meaning. This fleet was red all over, and the ship was branded with a sun totem, as if it represented some mysterious superpower. Are they from the immortal world? No, they are the legendary extraterritorial demons. What? The 5 major domains were immediately in panic. After all, many cultivators had never seen such a scene, especially when they saw this huge fleet. They felt that they were as small as ants, and a sense of powerlessness surged in their hearts. The hatch of the leading super battleship opened, and a young man in a metal battlesuit walked out. He had a handsome face, golden hair fluttering, and golden eyes, like a sun across the sky. Looking down from a high altitude, the humiliating scene of the past is still vivid in his mind. The blonde young man took a deep breath and raised a cold smile at the corner of his mouth. I didn't expect it. Chen Xiao is back again. In an instant, the grand and cold voice spread throughout the Kunlun realm and sounded clearly in everyone's ears. That's right, he was the Chen Xiao who was carrying the sun immortal body and always said that I have the appearance of becoming an immortal. Now, he has returned strongly. Remember Chen Xiao, the son of Yuhuaman. At the beginning, Yuhuaman colluded with foreign forces, and was exterminated after the matter was exposed. At the last moment, the immortals of the Hades fled from the Stargate. Before leaving, they took away Chen Xiao, who was hit to dementia, and there was no news from then on. Originally, Chen Xiao was going to start his dark career. After being brought back to the Hades, Chen Xiao lived a life worse than pigs and dogs. Later, because of the extreme experience before, he accidentally awakened a more powerful physique, that is, the Sun Holy Body. That time, he released the breath of the Sun Holy Body and was noticed by a Saint King Realm powerhouse who was traveling in the galaxy. From then on, his fate changed dramatically. This Saint King Realm powerhouse was the great elder of the Liang civilization. The Liang realm ranked 50th in the divine court and was very powerful. And Chen Xiao awakened the Sun Holy Body, which is a physique that the Liang civilization highly respects. The lucky person with this physique is qualified to become the next Liang king. So, Chen Xiao turned over and took charge, and the wild chicken turned into a phoenix in a dramatic way. The poor Hades did not take Chen Xiao seriously at first, and beat and scolded him, and sent him like a slave. As a result, Chen Xiao hugged his thigh, and everyone in the Hades was completely panicked. The ancestor of the Hades clan came forward in person to ask Chen Xiao for forgiveness, and was willing to lead the entire clan to be loyal to him. It is worth mentioning that this ancestor of the Hades clan was the founder of the Hades Abyss, the first generation of Hades clan, and his cultivation was at the level of a true saint. But unfortunately, he was like an ant in front of a saint king. Chen Xiao naturally did not want to miss this opportunity for revenge. The torture and oppression during that period had already twisted his heart, so he directly ordered the elder to bloodbath the entire Hades clan, leaving no one alive. For the elder, destroying a race of the level of the Hades clan was as simple as eating and drinking water. The most important thing was that Chen Xiao was carrying the holy body of the sun. After he took it back, he would be rewarded, and if the other party became the next generation of the fiery Sun King, he would definitely benefit from him. Thinking of this, the elder immediately took action and killed them all in the desperate eyes of the entire Hades clan. So far, the Hades clan has completely disappeared in the starry sky. After Chen Xiao was taken back by the Great Elder, he was immediately welcomed by the Great Elder and was adopted as the son of the contemporary Liang King, who attached great importance to him. Because Chen Xiao's sun holy body was in perfect harmony with the Liang royal family's cultivation, Chen Xiao's cultivation was like divine help and he made rapid progress. In addition, the Liang civilization regarded Chen Xiao as the next generation of the Liang king, so naturally they were generous in supporting him with all kinds of natural materials and treasures. In this way, Chen Xiao first became an immortal, then a saint, and now he is a strong man in the realm of heavenly saints. Because he had suffered a serious setback in the Kunlun realm and was still brooding over it, he took this opportunity to lead a powerful invincible fleet to the Kunlun realm. He wanted to turn the Kunlun realm into a colony and kill all his former enemies. Coming here again, Chen Xiao's mood was very different. It felt like he had left the novice village and returned to the full level. At this time, when the whole world heard Chen Xiao's voice, all living beings fell silent, and then they couldn't help whispering. Chen Xiao, who is he? I don't know. Is he from our Kunlun realm? Is there such a person in our Kunlun realm? Why haven't I heard of him before? Discussions were heard everywhere. Obviously, everyone was very unfamiliar with the name Chen Xiao. When Chen Xiao heard these voices, his face looked uglier than eating shit, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Damn, so embarrassing. Although he was a celebrity before, his fame was limited to the East region. Later, as time passed, Kunlun realm was full of talents and turbulent, and the name Chen Xiao completely withdrew from the stage of history. Chen Xiao, in the East region, a cultivator with a better memory asked in surprise. This fellow Taoist, do you know him? Someone next to him asked curiously. Do you still remember Yuhuaman? The cultivator pondered. Of course I remember. This is a sect that betrayed the human race and colluded with foreign forces. It will be nailed to the pillar of shame forever. That's right, but do you remember that the original saint of Yuha sect was called Chen Xiao? Fuck, after learning the identity of the other party, many people felt incredible. At the beginning, Yuha sect betrayed the human race and was later destroyed by the indignant Eastern Region coalition. This deed is well known to everyone, but no one expected that Yuha sect actually had a survivor, that is, Saint Chen Xiao. It turns out that he didn't die that year, but was taken away by foreign aliens. Damn it, why didn't he die outside, but came back again? It looks like he is here to cause trouble. It's over. Yi, fellow Taoist Yi, that guy named Chen Xiao seems to be very strong. On the mountain, Go Buli's scalp numbed. With his immortal level cultivation, he actually felt deep fear in such a scene. Yi Junlin also thought of this person, and his eyes showed a touch of surprise. He was still very surprised by Chen Xiao's strong return. It seems that this is a seriously underestimated character. If you want to say that he is lucky, it is indeed good, but if you want to say that he is unlucky, he came at this time. Isn't this like holding a lantern and going into the toilet to find shit death? Window. _tabula equals window. _tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article thumbnail. 300 by 250 feet. Placement. Below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet. Target _type. Mix. Chapter 710 The Empress appears. Haha, many of you don't know my origins, but it doesn't matter, I will soon be remembered by you for the rest of your life. Or, the next life. Chen Xiao's eyes flashed coldly, and a cruel smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He came back here for revenge. Not here to reminisce. Pass my order and all the fleet's guns should be aimed at the east. I will turn the entire eastern region into death. Chen Xiao gave an order. The fleet's cannons all turned in unison, and then quickly condensed a terrifying energy aura. Looking from a distance, it seems like the stars are shining all over the sky. Each energy shock wave is enough to kill an ordinary true saint. As a result, it was used to bombard the eastern region, just like a star destroyer cannon hitting a small pond with a fuss. With such carpet bombing, how many living creatures can there be in the eastern region? Facing this super fleet that was poised to attack, countless creatures were so frightened that their scalps were numb, their livers and gallbladders were bursting, and they had a sense of imminent death. Quick, run away, someone shouted in horror. The eastern region was in chaos, and panic spread across the land. Seeing this situation, Chen Xiao felt extremely happy, because the previous painful experience made him hate the eastern region deeply. His blood relatives and his beautiful vision had all disappeared in this ghost place. Therefore, at this moment, he was filled with vengeful anger and wanted to pour it out on this land. Only by completely destroying the eastern territory can he let out this bad breath. Emperor Yin was stunned. He was born not long ago and he is about to die. Speaking of foreign fleets, when did they become so powerful? I remember that it didn't reach this level in ancient times. I always feel like if one shot goes down, I will die. Master Yi Island, Emperor Lu fell into despair. This sudden extraterrestrial fleet destroyed her vision of regaining the Kunlun world in one fell swoop. In the face of this absolute power, even those as powerful as the immortal emperor are ants. Are all the arrangements made over the years meaningless? Thinking of this, Emperor Lu's heart was shaken. Yi Junlin clicked his tongue and said, "It's not okay to make such a big noise just after arriving." With that said, he raised his hand and was about to grab the super fleet in the sky. Suddenly, a huge colorful beam of light shot straight into the sky, causing even the Kunlun realm to tremble. Central Territory, Yaoguang Holy Land. There was a woman with an extraordinary temperament and a beautiful face, her eyes closed tightly, as if she was suffering some great pain. Her body was enveloped in colorful light, filled with indescribable sacred meaning. Holy Lord Qin, all the female disciples and elders looked shocked. This person is Qin Ruyan. Since the development of Kunlun realm, Qin Ruyan's cultivation has improved rapidly and he has become the holy master of Yaoguang Holy Land. Even Long Aotian, who claims to be invincible in the world, is quite afraid and instinctively avoids his edge. These days, Qin Ruyan has been restless, and the dusty memories in his mind are emerging one after another, becoming clearer and clearer. It seems that she once ruled the Kunlun realm many years ago, commanding hundreds of millions of living beings, and as a supreme empress. Later, due to an accident, he was jointly suppressed by the major giants in the outer starry sky. In the end, his hatred sublimated and he died together with the enemy. Now, seeing the foreign fleet invading the Kunlun realm, Qin Ruyan suddenly seemed to have completely awakened, and an extremely unfamiliar and powerful aura erupted from his body. Click click click, invisibly, there was the sound of shackles being broken. Cut off the old shackles of the past, and you will know who I am today. Qin Ruyan opened her eyes, her bright eyes were as bright as this, and there was a hint of majesty between her eyebrows, and she said coldly. The ethereal voice echoed in all directions with a majestic meaning, as if the empress who dominated the world spoke. The aura in her body rose crazily, and she jumped from the immortal emperor to the realm of the true saint. This is not over yet. It seems that they recognized this woman, and the heavenly Tao of Kunlun realm directly tried to help her. Boom! With the help of the entire Kunlun world, her cultivation level broke through the bottleneck, and she reached Tiansheng consummation all the way. Qin Ruyan raised her finger, pointed towards the sky, and spoke cold words with her red lips. Destroy. In an instant, this super fleet from the Liang civilization seemed to have received a fatal blow, causing a chain of rumbles and explosions. The picture is very shocking, like fireworks blooming all over the sky. Emperor, be careful. A group of heavenly saint-level royal guards rushed over to protect Chen Xiao. After all, Chen Xiao is the next Liang king and has a distinguished status. If something goes wrong, they cannot afford it. Chen Xiao was also startled and looked at Qin Ruyan in disbelief, his mind filled with questions. Damn it, who the hell is this woman? He thought that the strongest person in the Kunlun world was just the immortal emperor, but why did a top heavenly saint-level powerhouse suddenly appear and destroy his super fleet with just one finger? Fortunately, his main ship is an ancient saint-class battleship, which is very rare in the Liang civilization. Because of his special status, he is eligible to be mobilized. Therefore, under the protection of the ancient saint-class battleship, he was not injured. Just got a little scared. Who are you? Chen Xiao was shocked and angry, and asked. I am Empress Fuyao. The majestic female voice carried a domineering tone that shook the Kunlun world, as if she wanted to announce her return to the world. Qin Ruyan's appearance and temperament have changed, and she has completely transformed into the former Empress Fuyao, rising to the top with a domineering attitude. In fact, the Fuyao Empress did not die that year, or it should be said that she was not completely dead. She created a special skill in her early years, called the twin reincarnation technique. Qin Ruyan is an incarnation she deliberately left behind. Even if something unexpected happens to her in the future, she can use this body to revive again. So, Qin Ruyan is the Fuyao Empress, and the Fuyao Empress is Qin Ruyan. In other words, the small account has completed its mission, and the big account will make a shining debut next. Due to the rich accumulation in the past, the Fuyao Empress achieved a rapid breakthrough in cultivation as soon as she took over. With the help of the Kunlun realm Heavenly Tao, the restrictions between heaven and earth were released, which allowed the Fuyao Empress to break through to the realm of Heavenly Saint in one fell swoop. Moreover, she is still a top Heavenly Saint. Want to know how strong the Fuyao Empress is now? Let's put it this way, she can fight against the newly promoted ancient saints without being defeated. This is the value of one of the four great masters of the ancient Kunlun realm. After all, the universe was still in the immortal era, and had not officially entered the saint era. The immortal emperor was the strongest creature. If anyone could break through and become a saint at this time, the nature behind it would be extraordinary. It was far beyond the reach of most ordinary people at present. At this time, in the shocked eyes of all beings, the tall and graceful figure stood firmly above the 9 heavens with a cold face, as if defending her territory and not allowing others to invade. When did our Kunlun realm have such a peerless powerhouse? Fuyao Empress, what a domineering name. Most contemporary cultivators had never heard of it, but were shocked. But for the former resurrected, when they heard the words Fuyao Empress, it was like being struck by thunder in the head, their eyes suddenly widened and their eyes were full of disbelief. Fuyao Empress, she is Fuyao Empress, Qinglian Sword Immortal cried excitedly with tears in his eyes. As a cultivator from the ancient times, he naturally knew the names of the 4 great masters of Kunlun realm, namely Emperor Tian, Empress Fuyao, Cheng Shengwang, and Luan. These 4 were all saints back then, and they were the well-deserved faces of Kunlun realm. Later, an accident broke out, Luan betrayed Kunlun realm, Emperor Tian was captured by Juyu, Empress Fuyao died in battle, and Cheng Shengwang's whereabouts were unknown. Kunlun realm began to go downhill. Unexpectedly, after many years, Empress Fuyao appeared again, and she was not dead. She became even more powerful. This made Qinglian Sword Immortal and other ancient cultivators feel ecstatic, and they all shed 2 lines of excited tears. Empress Fuyao is still alive, so good. Including Emperor Lu, a group of ancient creatures were surprised and happy, with tears in their eyes. The most intense reaction was Go Buli. Go Buli used to be the most loyal follower of Empress Fuyao. When he learned that Empress Fuyao died in battle, he cried the most sadly and his heart was broken. Now, the former master reappeared and showed his invincible style in those days. This made Go Buli burst into tears and kneeled on the ground crying loudly. His shoulders were shaking violently and he choked up and said, "Lady Empress, so you are still alive. Agu really misses you." Agu is the usual name that Empress Fuyao calls Go Buli. Only she calls Go Buli like this. Seeing that familiar and domineering figure appear, Go Buli seemed to have returned to that distant era, when he was in his prime and firmly followed behind her. Warm tips: if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error, or contact us at the bottom to let us know. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 711 Isn't this a Gundam? Isn't this the Qin Ruyan from before? It turns out that she is the legendary Empress Fuyao. It's really surprising. Seeing this reversal, Yi Junlin sighed. Unexpectedly, he would encounter such a wonderful scene when he came back this time. He is worthy of being a super giant from ancient times. He is so difficult to kill and yet he can live again after death. Admire, admire. Inside the ancient saint-class battleship, Chen Xiao recovered from the shock, and a surge of anger suddenly arose in his heart. Hateful, I'm here for revenge, not for embarrassment. Stepping on my head to show off, you women are simply looking for death. The more Chen Xiao thought about it, the angrier he became, and he immediately ordered, enable the full combat mode for me. I, the Emperor, must control it myself and kill this so-called Empress Fuyao. Yes. Then, the appearance of the ancient saint-class battleship suddenly erupted with red electricity, and in the eyes of countless incredulous eyes, the ship began to change its shape visibly to the naked eye. Click 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 click, A tall humanoid mecha appeared in the sky, its metal shell as red as magma shone like a mirror, and a huge dark red light wheel hung behind it, burning with raging hellfire, and its right arm extended. A sharp silver blade emerged, which was extremely sharp, as if it could easily cut off a star. This mecha stood majestically in the 9 heavens, its whole body filled with heat waves that were like thick smoke, and every inch of its body was glowing, like an eternal sun, dazzling and dazzling. Chen Xiao, who was taking the lead in the control room, was surrounded by a 3-dimensional outside scene, as if he and the mecha were merged. Every move he made would be connected to the mecha, maintaining a high degree of consistency. This is a high-level holy ship carefully developed by Liang civilization. In addition, my physique can provide a steady stream of solar energy. How can you, a mere heavenly saint-level expert, fight with me? Chen Xiao stared at that elegant and majestic figure and said with a sinister smile. Witness this scene. Yi Junlin was shocked and blurted out, "I'll go, isn't this a tall one?" Yi Junlin was surprised by the battleship's transformation into a Gundam. It seems that this blazing sun star is not only a cultivation system, but also a highly developed mechanical civilization. Interesting. Empress Fuyao frowned, "It's just heresy, let's see how I can dismantle you." As soon as these words came out, Chen Xiao was furious, "I want you to die." Suddenly, the Liang mecha moved. The seemingly huge metal body was actually not bulky at all. It moved extremely fast. Even in an instant, it arrived in front of Empress Fuyao, raised its sharp sword and slashed hard. Down. Aha! The red sword light hangs down like a bright galaxy, and the violent sword energy spreads out, cutting every inch of space. You will definitely die with this sword. In the control room, Chen Xiao's face was full of cruelty, as if he had seen the scene of the opponent being struck to death by a sword. You must know that this is an ancient saint-class battleship. It has transformed into a battle form, and its strength can rival the best in the ancient saint realm. A mere heavenly saint can only be hacked to death. Who knows? Empress Fuyao used her famous footwork, Zuntian step, and saw that her movement was unpredictable, and she avoided the sword at the critical moment. Chen Xiao's eyelids twitched, somewhat unexpectedly. Immediately afterwards, a series of majestic palm prints came and exploded accurately on the Liang mecha. Dang dang dang, it was like a heavy hammer striking metal crazily, and the clanging sound of iron was heard intensively. Empress Fuyao is walking on the sky patrol, her movements are elusive, and she has a domineering attitude. Every time he takes action, it is powerful and heavy, enough to kill a top heavenly saint. But unfortunately, the sun mecha's defense is at the ancient saint level and is not that easily damaged. Hateful. Chen Xiao's face was ugly, and he controlled the Liang mecha to swing the sword and continuously attack the target. Swish, swish, swish. The sword energy surged vertically and horizontally, and the red sword light filled the sky. In a moment, the surrounding void was shattered, and the cut spaces were like broken mirrors full of cracks. Empress Fuyao looked solemn and did not dare to be careless. She knew very well that if she was hit, it would be very bad. At present, she just relied on her body skills to barely deal with it. Then, try to find vulnerabilities to attack weak points as much as possible. 3 flowers gathered together. A clear drink. 3 lotus flowers appeared above Empress Fuyao's head, each with a different color. In an instant, her attack speed and defense were significantly improved, equivalent to 10 of her original selves combined. This is awesome. This means that the current Empress Fuyao can deal with 10 of her previous selves at the same time, and her strength is extremely incredible, far beyond the normal level of performance in the heavenly saint realm. Bang bang bang, the Liang mecha suffered even greater damage, and it felt violently trembling every time it was hit. The heavenly saint level guards inside the cabin were so frightened that their scalps were numb. They couldn't believe that this was the power that Tiansheng could exert. If someone says this is an ancient saint, they all believe it. Chen Xiao was also shocked, and his heart felt like a storm. If he didn't have the sun mecha to rely on, and let him go out to fight alone, he might be killed in less than 1 round. They are both in the heavenly saint realm, how come the gap is so huge? This fighting power is too exaggerated. The light of reincarnation. Empress Fuyao quickly made a secret and created a terrifying magic formula. Suddenly, a brilliant and immortal sacred light enveloped the Liang mech. The surface of the Liang mech seemed to be extremely burned, emitting hot smoke and began to show slight damage. It was a miracle that the Tiansheng realm could do this. Chen Xiao was shocked and angry, impossible, I can't lose. As he spoke, he frantically stimulated the power of the sun holy body and continuously injected it into the core of the Liang mech. The light on the Liang mech was thousands of feet high, revealing a terrifying momentum that was breathtaking. Boom boom boom, a destructive energy shot out at the speed of light, forcibly dispersing the light of reincarnation. In this case, the eyes of the Fuyao Empress sank, and she quickly mobilized the power of her whole body, preparing to use her strongest ultimate killing move. In an instant, the whole world seemed to be still, the air stopped flowing, and the sky was eclipsed. Not good, I must stop her. Chen Xiao felt a warning sign in his heart, his scalp tingling, and he always felt that something extremely unfavorable to him would happen next. At this moment, Empress Fuyao burned her blood and essence, her whole body was trembling with sacred light, and her aura was forcibly climbing to a new height. The cold and majestic voice with irresistible power echoed in every corner of Kunlun realm, shocking people. Great Annihilation Technique, Chapter 712, King of the Fiery Sun. In an instant, a vast and unknown power descended and enveloped the Liang mecha. Boom, 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 horrifying and heart-shaking explosions sounded one after another. The Liang mecha suffered unprecedented and huge damage. Hot black smoke came out from all over its body, and electricity surged randomly. Damn, how is this possible? The red light in the control room flashed crazily, reflecting Chen Xiao's unbelievable face, with panic in his eyes. Well, Empress Fuyao frowned. Her expression was a little painful, and she seemed to have suffered a certain backlash, but even so, she continued to hold on because the battle was not over yet. If Chen Xiao and the others are not dealt with quickly, then the entire Kunlun world will fall into its darkest moment. I am the Empress of the Kunlun realm, and I shall suppress all enemies outside the realm. Empress Fuyao shouted loudly, showing an absolutely domineering attitude that made countless creatures cry. She concentrated the rest of her strength into one finger, her fingertips shining brightly in the sky, and pointed toward the head of the blazing sun mecha. The finger of great destruction. Boom, the head of the Liang mecha was hit hard and a huge fire exploded. Ah, a group of heavenly saint-level guards inside were almost killed by the aftermath. The rest quickly went to find Chen Xiao in the control room to protect him and leave. Emperor, let's run away. The Liang mecha is dying. A guard covered in blood broke into the control room and said anxiously. There was blood on the corner of Chen Xiao's mouth, and it was difficult to accept this fact. He couldn't figure out why this happened. It's obvious that you have all the advantages. This woman is a bit too strong. No, I can never escape like this. I am here for revenge. I want to turn everyone in this world into my slaves. Whoever stops me will die. Chen Xiao shouted hysterically. He controlled the incomplete blazing sun mecha and fired a solar energy cannon at Empress Fuyao. The void along the way was trembling, and the energy shock wave seemed to be roaring, covering Empress Fuyao. Critical moment. Empress Fuyao calmed her mind and moved her hands to create the yin and yang tai chi diagram. The black and white colors swirled endlessly, revealing the mysterious Taoist charm. The next second, the energy cannon bombarded the yin-yang tai chi diagram, miraculously like water flowing around the yin-yang tai chi diagram. Give it back to you. Empress Fuyao shouted coldly, fired the solar energy cannon again, and hit the head of the Liang mecha hard. Protect the Emperor's son, several heavenly saint-level guards exclaimed. Bang, the head of the mecha was completely blown away, leaving only the tattered steel body, which fell like a meteorite to a certain place in the eastern region. With a roar, a huge mushroom cloud was set off, and the mountains collapsed and the ground cracked. A shabby, blood-stained figure escaped. He is Chen Xiao. Several of the heavenly saint-level guards who protected him were dead, otherwise his situation would have been even worse. At this moment, Chen Xiao looked at the domineering and majestic tall figure with a face full of grief and anger. Apart from hatred, he was also afraid of its strength. Just wait for me. This emperor will go back to Liang Star to bring in reinforcements. The entire Kunlun world will have to pay a heavier price because of your resistance. As he spoke, he turned into a blazing sun and flew towards the outer starry sky with all his strength, trying to escape from this place of right and wrong. Don't even think about running away. After defeating the ancient saint-level Liang mecha, the three-flower gathering state that Empress Fuyao had forcibly maintained was lifted. Seeing that the culprit was about to escape, she wanted to chase him, but she felt a strong dizziness, forcing her to stop. Sure enough, with her current state, it was already the limit to be able to reach that point just now, which was simply an overdraft for her body. If she insisted on pursuing him, she would probably be killed in her current state. That's fine. Empress Fuyao weighed the pros and cons and decided to give up chasing Chen Xiao. Chen Xiao ran quickly, not even having the courage to look back. After all, the battle ahead had scared him to death. Even if someone told him that Empress Fuyao was at the end of her fight, he would not dare to take the risk. Suddenly, a silver-haired young man appeared in front of him with a smile, blocking his way to the outer starry sky. Little brother, don't leave in a hurry. Yi Junlin smiled and played with the taste. As if Chen Xiao was struck by lightning, his eyes almost burst. It was as if he had seen the most horrifying scene in his life. His beating heart almost stopped in an instant. Yes, it's you. Chen Xiao is no stranger to the person in front of him. After all, he was suppressed by the opponent all the way in the Kunlun world. Every time he was hit, he doubted his life and his mentality collapsed. Later, during the decisive battle, the opponent blocked the Stargate and killed them wildly, completely crushing the Yuha Gate's ambition to collude with outside forces. What was even more unexpected was that Yi Junlin would grow up to be the Lord of Heaven and become the most popular big shot in the heavens. It can be said that Chen Xiao has always been shrouded in his shadow. Although Yi Junlin fought a huge victory before, causing the destruction of hundreds of thousands of ancient saints in the Holy World, Chen Xiao still does not believe that all this was caused by Yi Junlin. He is more willing to believe that behind this, there is a powerful person placed by the divine court to help the Holy World tide over the difficulties. So when he came back this time, he wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to occupy a favorable position and compete with Yi Junlin with the help of the ancient saint-level fierce Sun Mecha. Unexpectedly, before they even officially joined hands, they would be destroyed by another powerful woman. Now that he has lost his biggest support, Chen Xiao can no longer be tough. His heart is trembling and he is extremely afraid. Yi Junlin said, "You are lucky, kid. You were in such a situation back then, but you were able to turn the tables in the end. If you had stayed in that world, I would not have bothered you. But you chose to come here to make trouble. Do you think I can let you go?" As he spoke, his tone was filled with murderous intent. Chen Xiao's scalp numbed. "I will leave now and never set foot here again. Please let me go." Yi Junlin sighed, took out the Emperor's banner and said, "Go in, there are enough seats inside." What is this? Seeing this purple soul banner with black smoke and strange aura, Chen Xiao instinctively felt fear. The Emperor's banner, there is an excellent place for cultivation inside. Who asked me to repay evil with virtue? Yi Junlin sighed. Chen Xiao naturally didn't believe his nonsense, and said angrily, "Why is your Emperor banner still emitting black smoke? Do you think I'm a fool?" "Hey, that's wrong. This is Hongmeng purple air, purple to black," Yi Junlin said with a smile, and waved the Emperor banner to cover it. "No, don't. I am the future successor of King Liang. If you kill me, the entire Liang civilization will not let you go." Chen Xiao cried out in despair. Just as he was about to be sucked into the Emperor banner, a brilliant golden light burst out from his brows, full of sacred meaning. Behind Chen Xiao, a towering shadow emerged, with an imperial crown on his head, an old face and majestic, and the flames in his eyes burning like two eternal and vast suns. Instantly, the whole sky turned into the color of magma, the temperature of Kunlun realm rose rapidly, and flames were ignited in various places, attracting the exclamations of the crowd. Not good. Empress Fuyao's heart sank, feeling something was wrong. The Emperor's banner was blocked by a huge force. Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows, looking at the powerful shadow. "You are." "I am the lord of the Liang civilization, King Liang." The grand and majestic voice sounded like a bell, constantly echoing in this vast Kunlun realm. That's right. Behind Chen Xiao, it was the shadow of King Liang. Because Chen Xiao's identity was too important, King Liang had secretly left a Saint King mark. If he encountered life-threatening danger, the mark would be activated, and he would protect Chen Xiao and eliminate the enemies who opposed him. Chapter 713 Why Should I Give You Face? King Liang. Yi Junlin's eyes lit up and a meaningful smile appeared on his lips. Very good, experience package delivered to your door. Father, Chen Xiao said excitedly. He already recognized King Liang as his adopted father, and he usually called him adopted father, but at this moment he just wanted to call him father, to express his sincere filial piety. Xiao, your father is here to protect you from worries. King Liang was very satisfied with Chen Xiao's attitude and said in a deep voice. Yi Junlin sneered. It's too early to speak. Did I agree to let you take him away? How dare you? How dare you be so rude to my father? Chen Xiao relied on and angrily shouted. Haha, Yi Junlin looked at him as if he were looking at a fool. King Liang stared at the silver-haired young man unkindly. His body exuded an aura as vast as the sea, and his voice was like a bell, with a majesty that shook all directions. I know you, you are the Lord of Heaven, and you have been stealing the show in this universe recently. In view of your meritorious service in fighting against Juyu, I don't have to worry about you, but I want to take Shower away. He is the emperor of our Liang civilization and the next generation of Liang King's heir. If you are sensible, you should know how to do it. Hear the words. Yi Junlin joked. You alone are not worthy of me giving you face. You are looking for death. King Liang was furious, and the turbulent momentum erupted from his body seemed to overwhelm the entire Kunlun realm. Countless creatures were trembling and their faces were filled with fear. I'm right here, let's see what you can do to me. Yi Junlin said playfully. He just wants to attract hatred like crazy and let King Liang attack him. After all, if King Liang really wants to take away Chen Xiao, he really can't stop him with his cultivation, so he hopes that the other party will break through the defense and attack him. In this way, it is exactly what you want. Chen Xiao looked suspicious, his eyebrows twitching. He was really familiar with Yi Junlin's expression. As an old rival from a long time ago, he knew that every time the opponent showed such an expression, he was confident. Although this phantom of the Liang King had half the cultivation of a Saint King and could easily kill the ancient saint, Chen Xiao just felt that something was not right, and an ominous premonition filled his heart. Father, you'd better take your son and leave quickly. Chen Xiao urged him bravely. There is no way, the other party is so evil that even Chen Xiao does not have the courage to continue to challenge him. He just wants to leave this ghost place as soon as possible. King Liang was already very angry, but when he heard Chen Xiao speak like this, the anger in his heart was like a bomb, sweeping through his chest with a bang, making him want to look up to the sky and roar with anger. Shower, what do you mean? Do you think your father can't deal with a junior like him? Liang King asked. This. Chen Xiao groaned secretly in his heart, with cold sweat dripping from his forehead, and said quickly, my son, I definitely didn't. No, you do, your expression gives you away. King Liang was very angry. Quote? Chen Xiao looked confused. Are you done with this old thing? So what do I have to say for you to believe it? HMPH, just watch, this kind of junior who doesn't know the heights of heaven and earth can be destroyed by me with just a raise of my hand. King Liang changed his mind. He stretched out his palm, and his big golden hand burned with raging flames, containing the boundless power of the sun, and struck Yi Junlin. You insist on seeking death. You can't blame anyone. The majestic voice was filled with majestic killing intent and resounded in every corner of Kunlun realm. Oops, Empress Fuyao said helplessly, with deep regret in her eyes. Regarding Yi Junlin's insistence on going his own way, Empress Fuyao said she could not understand that the gap in cultivation was so huge that a conflict had to break out on the spot. Master Yi Island, Lu Di and other creatures said anxiously. If the other party dies, it will undoubtedly be a huge loss to the Kunlun world. Ding, it is detected that the host is attacked by the half-step Saint King enemy. Now it triggers the passive effect of becoming stronger when encountering a strong one, and obtains the first level cultivation of the Saint King. Close black lens bracket. The system prompt sounds. The holy power in Yi Junlin's body roared like an angry dragon, and every pore in his body erupted with bright rays of light, which was dazzling. After the realm breaks through to the Holy King, the feeling is completely different. He can clearly feel that the rules of the holy way that fill the world seem to be able to be used by him and manipulated at will. Break. Yi Junlin spit out a word, like reciting heavenly words, containing unimaginable power. In an instant, the blazing hand of flames was destroyed, and even the shadow of King Liang was hit hard, becoming more and more illusory. How is that possible? King Liang was shocked. This junior has been promoted to the realm of the Holy King. With such an incredible growth rate, he is probably qualified to join the supreme list in the divine court world and become one of the top 10 super geniuses. Chen Xiao's scalp was numb, and the ominous premonition in his heart was confirmed. Sure enough, it happens every time. He should have thought of it earlier. This guy is so evil. No matter when and where, your cultivation will always be higher than others. It was like this before, and it is like this now. Numb, completely numb. At this moment, Chen Xiao once again thought of the fear of being dominated by Yi Junlin. You can't leave now even if you want to. Yi Junlin sneered. Now that he has reached the realm of the Holy King, even if King Liang wants to take Chen Xiao away forcibly, he cannot escape from his grasp. Daoyu, everything can be discussed. Our Liang civilization is willing to pay the price for this matter, just to save Chen Xiao. Liang King said in panic. As soon as the voice fell, with a bang, the Holy King's mark completely dissipated and was wiped out in this world. Far away on Liang Star, In the hall, the middle-aged man wearing a royal robe and a crown on his head broke out of consciousness. His face became extremely ugly, and the veins on his forehead bulged. He was so angry that he threw the king's staff on the ground and roared angrily. Damn it! Damn it! Li Yongqing knew that Chen Xiao was doomed to die this time. His hatred for Kunlun realm reached its peak. This hatred must be avenged by this king, and this world must be destroyed at all costs. Li Yongqing said angrily. Suddenly, a cold and indifferent voice descended on Li Yongstar, containing a power that no one could resist. The fiery sun star violated the iron law of the divine court, and the boundary was sealed for 1,000,000 years. Suddenly, the entire fiery sun star was shrouded in a strange light, and then the sound of iron chains clattering came from the void, and countless chains of order extended out, sealing off this world. The creatures of the fiery sun star were all stunned, and they were at a loss. The one with the biggest reaction was the fiery Sun King. What? The fiery Sun King jumped up from the throne, his face full of disbelief. The one who could have such a big hand must be the Lord of the Divine Court. He didn't expect that he would actually offend the Supreme Existence. He actually took action personally, without giving any chance to save it, and directly sealed off the fiery Sun Star for 1,000,000 years. You know, the fiery Sun Star has many affiliated worlds outside, as well as a large number of occupied and mined resource stars. Now that the fiery Sun Star has been sealed off for 1,000,000 years, they are not allowed to take a step outside, which means that the fiery Sun Star will lose external control, and all interstellar resources will be divided up. This is definitely a fatal blow to the Liyang civilization, which is good at interstellar colonization. Is it because Liyang Star secretly sent troops to Kunlun realm? What kind of magic does Kunlun realm have that makes the Lord of the Divine Court pay so much attention to it? The king of Liyang was puzzled and sat on the throne helplessly, saying with a bitter face. In any case, he is the sinner of the decline of Liyang civilization, and he is sorry for his ancestors. Window. _tabula equals window. _tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article thumbnail. 300 by 250 feet. Placement. Below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet. Target _type. Mix. Chapter 714 Chen Xiao regrets. At the same time, Kunlun realm lost the protection of King Liyang, and Chen Xiao fell into despair. His greatest support can be destroyed with a snap of his fingers in front of his lifelong enemy. Lost, completely lost. Recalling all the previous experiences, scenes from the past appeared in his mind like a slideshow. Chen Xiao laughed miserably, his eyes filled with deep reluctance. What a twist of fate. Yi Junlin sarcastically said, who can blame you for being reduced to this situation? You originally stayed well in Liyang Star, enjoying the supreme scenery, and had nothing to do with the Kunlun world from now on, but you, an idiot, decided to come back to find a sense of existence. Tell me, who is to blame? Chen Xiao's face turned the color of pig's liver. He hesitated for a long time and couldn't say a word. His heart was in extreme pain. He regrets so much. Go to hell. Yi Junlin waved the human emperor flag, instantly crushing Chen Xiao's body, absorbing his soul, and refining it into a soul slave. After a set of procedures, it is called a clean and tidy process. At this point, the dust has settled. Countless monks looked forward to it and burst into cheers. Emperor Yi Tian! Emperor Yi Tian! Emperor Yi Tian! The uniform shouts were like the roar of thunder, resounding through the sky and the earth, constantly echoing in the Kunlun world. Only then did everyone realize that the man was still as reliable as ever, and invincible. Empress Fuyao was stunned for a moment. Through Qin Ruyan's original memory, she certainly knew the origin of Yi Junlin. She was very sure that there was absolutely no such person in her time. What Emperor Yi Tian? I have never even heard of it. But the other party's qualifications are the strongest she has ever seen in her life. Even the 3 other super geniuses who were as famous as her back then may not be enough. There is just one thing, the opponent is indeed from the Kunlun realm, and he is fighting for the Kunlun realm. For this reason, he is definitely a friend, not an enemy. Looking at that invincible figure with fluttering silver hair, Empress Fuyao couldn't help but sigh. I never expected that there would be such a monster-level genius in the future. As a member of the Kunlun realm, I am also sincerely happy. In this way, I will be more sure of the glory of the Kunlun realm. After all, Empress Fuyao is a top female hero, with great perseverance, courage and determination. People who have reached her level will naturally not be too narrow-minded and do not want anyone to surpass them. Senior Fuyao, I have admired your name for a long time. I didn't expect you to live another life. I admire you. Yi Junlin flashed and came to Empress Fuyao and said with a smile. Being able to defeat the ancient saint level mecha at the heavenly saint level, even if it is not a powerful one, is still enough to be proud of. There is no need to mention the word senior again. Now that you have a high level of cultivation, it is only right that I call you senior. Empress Fuyao values strength, and whoever has the biggest fist is senior, so she doesn't agree with Yi Junlin calling her senior. After all, the gap in cultivation is too big. Yi Junlin was very easygoing, waving his hands and saying, in that case, let's just call ourselves fellow Taoists. Besides, I believe that with the qualifications of fellow Taoist Fuyao, I believe you can catch up with me soon. Empress Fuyao forced a smile, maybe. Anyway, she had never seen a monster whose cultivation level improved so quickly like Yi Junlin. Let's go down there and talk. Please. Then, under the spotlight of everyone, the two came to Piaomiao Peak. I'll wait to see the Empress. Emperor Lu and all the creatures bowed and worshipped, their tone full of infinite respect and excitement. Among them, there are also thorns like Emperor Yin. All Kunlun monks who came from ancient times were deeply influenced by the four ultimates. They were four transcendent beings who stood on the top of the mountain. They were the foundation and cards for Kunlun to stand proudly in the universe. Especially Empress Fuyao, who is the most outstanding among them, and is the object of admiration and worship by countless monks. When it comes to her, no one is dissatisfied. Now, seeing the opponent come back from the dead, fighting against the foreign fleets outside the territory, defeating them in one fell swoop, and protecting the Kunlun realm, that invincible spirit has deeply infected every ancient monk present, which makes them unable to help but recall it. Reminiscent of those turbulent days of the past. Empress Fuyao nodded, everyone, long time no see. Her voice was as beautiful as a clear spring, and it carried the majesty of a king. Everyone was in tears and their hearts were deeply touched. Empress, do you still remember me? Gubuli walked out with tears in his eyes and choked with sobs. Empress Fuyao was startled, and a rare smile appeared on her face. That already peerless face became even more breathtakingly beautiful when she smiled, as if everything in the world was eclipsed by it. Agu, how could I not remember you? Empress Fuyao stretched out her slender jade hands and said in a soft voice, come here quickly and let me see you. Woof. Gubuli changed his shape and turned into a big yellow dog, wagging his tail and ran over. Empress Fuyao touched its head, her eyes flashed with memories, as if the past scene happened yesterday. Agu, you look older than before. She sighed. The big yellow dog lay quietly next to Empress Fuyao, enjoying the gentle touch from its owner. Only in front of this person can Gubuli drop all his defenses and face, and be a loyal dog with peace of mind. Everyone, you have seen what happened before. Because I received the news in the heavenly court, I rushed to Kunlun realm in advance. Otherwise, the consequences would be disastrous. Now the divine court and Juyu are fighting for Kunlun realm, and the situation has officially escalated to a battle between saints. Yi Junlin broke this beautiful atmosphere and pulled everyone back to reality. Although Empress Fuyao was resurrected, after the battle just now, everyone still centered on this silver-haired young man. We all know what happened, but what is the heavenly court? Empress Fuyao frowned. She had only heard of the divine court, but never heard of the heavenly court. Yi Junlin explained. The heavenly court is the first force that governs the holy realm, and the previous immortal realm is the predecessor of the holy realm. What? There is no immortal realm now? Shu Yunyan and the others were the most shocked, because the concept of the immortal realm had a long history in the Kunlun realm before and was deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. So, when they learned that the immortal realm was no longer there, their reaction was very big. Hee, you can understand it is a change of name. Yi Junlin said. Medicine Master shouted. This is now the Lord of Heaven, we usually call him the Emperor of Heaven. In an instant, everyone's eyes changed. The hearts of the creatures such as Emperor Lu were very complicated. They thought that Yi Junlin would definitely achieve something after ascending to the upper realm, but they didn't expect that the achievement would be so great. He directly set up his own sect and dominated the upper realm. How long has it been? How is Lu Taishang now? Emperor Lu asked. Yi Junlin said, he is now my deputy. I left the heaven, and he is responsible for handling all the affairs of the heaven. After a brief conversation, everyone realized that the upper realm of the past has changed. And this silver-haired young man is the sky. Chapter 715. Something happened in the holy realm. The changes that happened to Liang Star naturally could not be concealed from the major forces outside the domain. When they learned that Liang Star had been blocked for 1,000,000 years and could not be set foot on during this period, many creatures were frightened. You know, Liang Star is at least a superstar ranked 50th in the Divine Court. As a result, it was blocked for 1,000,000 years. What a big deal. This means that after countless years of foreign wars, the interstellar territories, various resource planets, and colonized galaxies that Liang Star had conquered everywhere were all in vain at this moment and were destined to be divided up by the major worlds. For a civilization that relies on interstellar colonization, this move is undoubtedly a death sentence. It was the Lord of the Divine Court who did it himself. A powerful man trembled. Everyone was shocked. What did Liang Star do to cause the dissatisfaction of the Lord of the Divine Court? With a deeper understanding, they finally knew the reason. It turned out that the son of Liang Star fell in Kunlun realm. Liang King was furious and wanted to conquer Kunlun realm at all costs, which led to the tragedy of Liang Star. It seems that the Lord of the Divine Court values Kunlun realm very much. Could it be that Kunlun realm has the potential to reach the top again, which is why the Lord of the Divine Court is so optimistic about it? It is very likely. Public opinion in the starry sky is everywhere, and there are many different opinions. Many holy creatures who want to divide Kunlun realm have backed off after this incident. Although the previous Saint agreement has been invalidated as the conflict escalates, the Kunlun realm has now shown its strong strength and does not look like a backward world that can be manipulated by anyone. This makes the creatures who want to gain benefits from it weigh themselves. The news spread in the universe. A world that had been declining for thousands of years has now reblown a dazzling light, making countless planets dominated by the human race feel extremely excited. Looking back to the past, Kunlun realm was at its peak, and the human race was one of the top super races in the universe. There are countless affiliated worlds alone, occupying many vast galaxies. Its influence covers the entire universe like radiation, and the human cultivators who walked out of there are extremely confident and full of confidence. Later, Kunlun realm declined, and the overall status of the human race plummeted, and was even expelled from the ranks of the myriad races in the starry sky. After so many years, the human race has no say in the universe. Now seeing the Kunlun realm blooming again, the human cultivators distributed in various galaxies in the universe can't help but be shocked and their eyes are a little wet. At this time, on an extremely desolate and remote wasteland planet, an old man wearing a straw hat, with a simple temperament and holding a hoe, like a farmer, is slowly plowing the fields. The climate here is obviously bad and the soil is worthless, but under his cultivation, the fields are actually green and full of vitality. At first glance, it seems nothing, but if there is a Saint King realm strongman here, he will be scared to get goosebumps all over his body and flee in terror at the first time. Just because the crops that thrive in the fields are irrigated with the holy blood of the Holy King, and the corpse of the Holy King is used as fertilizer. You know, anyone who reaches the level of Holy King is a hegemon in the entire universe, and basically rules a vast civilization. For example, the King of Liang on Liang Star is a Holy King. However, such a great man with a transcendent status can only be used as nutrients to nourish crops in this old man's fields. How shocking is this? This farmer-like old man swung the hoe and kept plowing. There was no fluctuation of breath on his body. It was ordinary and seemed to have returned to nature. Suddenly, his ears moved slightly, as if he heard the discussion outside, and the hoe he swung suddenly paused and slowly put it down. The originally numb and turbid eyes burst out with an extreme brilliance, and murmured, "Kunlun." Half a year, the Kunlun world survived the previous catastrophe and developed in an orderly manner. Just like the transformation of the immortal realm into the saint realm before, because the interstellar fleet led by Chen Shao fell in the Kunlun realm, the corpses of countless saint realm soldiers turned into essence and were absorbed by the Kunlun realm heavenly Tao, further accelerating the vigorous development of the Kunlun realm. During this period, many powerful figures emerged in the Kunlun realm, which can be said to be a world of great contention, far better than before. With the help of this momentum, Emperor Lu and Emperor Yin broke through to become true saints respectively, and Long Aotian was enlightened by the Fuyao Empress, and followed closely. Many immortal emperors emerged like a blowout, the scene was thriving, and everything was developing in a good direction. This Kunlun realm is really getting better. A group of ancient monks sighed. During this period, Yi Junlin was also happy to be free and return to his previous leisurely time in the Kunlun realm. Either playing mahjong, playing cards, playing chess, or tasting tea, this little life is so comfortable. Anyway, the affairs of the heavenly court are handled by Lao Lu, which allows him to be a hands-off shopkeeper and have nothing to do. The most important thing is that after the incident with Chen Shao, the outside world suddenly became much quieter. Some cultivators from outside the region came to visit, but they were all polite and did not dare to act rashly. Just when Yi Junlin thought that this kind of life would continue, the vast sky suddenly exploded, and a broken space channel emerged. A blood-stained figure fell from it and fell on a holy mountain in the east region, causing an uproar. Who was that? Many people were surprised. In the center of the broken pit, the blood-stained figure struggled to get up, revealing a very tired, unshaven and haggard face. Fortunately, at the last moment, the teleportation array arranged by Senior Lu could still be used, otherwise I would have been trapped in the holy realm like them. Li Wuji was still in shock and felt a sense of fear. Swish! Yi Junlin came over after hearing the sound. When he saw his apprentice in such a state, his heartstrings tightened and an ominous premonition filled his heart. Xiao Li, what's going on? Tell me, Master, Master. Li Wuji was very excited when he saw this silver-haired figure. Don't worry, talk slowly. Yi Junlin shot out a holy force and injected it into Li Wuji's body to help him recover. Something happened in the holy realm, something big happened. Hearing this, Yi Junlin frowned. Could it be that there is another invasion by foreign races? He thought of this at the first time, but the heavenly court had all kinds of arrays arranged by him, and killing the heavenly saints would be like a joke. Unless a large number of ancient saint-level strongmen broke in, the holy realm should be as solid as a rock. Moreover, the Juyu army was annihilated in the holy realm before, shocking countless creatures with ulterior motives. Logically, there shouldn't be so many foreign forces willing to ask for trouble, right? Li Wuji said bitterly. It's not the outsiders who broke in, but there are problems within us. Just 10 days ago, a guy named Yu Washeng suddenly appeared and swallowed up the heavenly Tao of the holy realm, trying to refine the entire holy realm and turn all creatures into nutrients. Senior Lu led our heavenly court to resist with all his strength and struggled to support it. In the end, the heavenly court was shattered, and many strong men died or were injured. The holy realm is dark and all the cultivators can't escape. They can only stay inside and wait for their fate to be refined. In a hurry, Senior Lu had to gather all resources and set up a space transmission array across the two realms, hoping to let we went to Kunlun realm to find you and deal with that Yu Washeng. Quote. As a result, this plan was discovered by the other party. Senior brother Hong and the others tried their best to resist. I took this opportunity to teleport here and tell you the news. Quote. After explaining the cause and effect, Li Wuji anxiously grabbed Yi Junlin's arm. Master, we have to go back quickly. Now only you can save everyone. Originally, with his strength, he could open the crazy bloodline, which was enough to kill the strong men of the heavenly saint level. It would be more troublesome to encounter the ancient saint level. As a result, facing this catastrophe, his strength seemed insignificant. Even if all the people joined forces, it would be difficult to shake the powerful feather-robed youth. Li Wuji didn't even know how the other party grew up without telling the outside world. As soon as he appeared, he was above all living beings. There were so many strong men in the heavenly court, and none of them was his opponent. Yu Washeng. Yi Junlin's eyes burst out with a sharp brilliance, and his whole body released a terrifying sense of oppression of the Saint King level. It's outrageous. It hasn't been long since he left, and someone took advantage of his absence to explode the crystal. Feeling this terrible pressure, Li Wuji's knees softened subconsciously and he fell to the ground. Master, Master. Li Wuji's scalp tingled and his heart trembled. He knew that his master was really angry this time. Yi Junlin sneered. Let's go back to the holy realm. I want to see how powerful that guy named Yu Washeng is. Window. _tabula equals window. _tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article thumbnail. 300 by 250 feet. Placement. Below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet. Target _type. Mix. Chapter 716 Heaven is dead. Due to his cultivation level, the space channel was no longer able to bear it, so he could only take Li Wuji across the starry sky to the holy realm. Fortunately, he was in the realm of the Holy King, and his speed was more than 100 times faster than that of the ancient saints. It took him half a day to finally reach the holy realm. The holy realm, this world of the holy Tao that should have been rich and prosperous, is now suffering from a terrible crisis of annihilation. At this time, the entire planet was shrouded by a vast and boundless demon fetus, which exuded boiling and terrifying demonic energy. From a distance, it looked like a weird black meat ball, with hundreds of millions of blood-colored tentacles twisting wildly on the surface. The cultivators inside could not get out, and the cultivators outside could not get in. Of course, this was for creatures below the Holy King level. As a Holy King, Yi Junlin naturally had the ability to break this layer of restrictions. He raised his hand to summon the human emperor's sword, and the sword body burst into a brilliant and immortal golden light, like a magnificent sun across the sky, dazzling and incomparable. Break it for me. A sword was slashed out, and the demon fetus was instantly cut open, exposing the incomplete holy world inside. Swish! Yi Junline's face was gloomy, and he descended into the holy world with Li Wuji. What came into view was a dead and doomsday scene. The 5 holy domains were almost dilapidated and devastated. The originally rich holy energy between heaven and earth was pitifully thin. The vegetation on the mountains withered and the rivers dried up. The whole sky, without blue sky and white clouds, was filled with endless black air, and there were thick and throbbing blood vessels between the black air. Yi Junline broke the demon fetus with a sword, which undoubtedly brought the long-lost light to this world. That is the figure of the Emperor of Heaven. Someone recognized Yi Junline and shouted excitedly. The Emperor of Heaven is here, and our holy world is saved. Another person knelt on the ground, tears streaming down his face. These 10 days are the darkest 10 days in the holy world. A monster called Yu Washeng actually devoured the heavenly Tao and took measures to refine the holy realm. If it lasts longer, the entire holy realm, including all living beings, will become nutrients. The heavenly emperor has appeared. The heavenly emperor has come to save us. More and more cultivators heard the news, their eyes burst into hope and they shouted excitedly. The shouts were like a tsunami, shaking the earth. This is their only hope. Swish swish swish, many figures flew from all over the place and gathered around Yi Junline, all of them were familiar faces. Lu Wangshu looked very embarrassed. When he saw Yi Junline, he said excitedly. Friend Yi, you are finally here. Yi Junline raised his sword and said coldly, Old Lu, what's the situation now? He is very angry now. The other party has brought the holy realm to this point, even worse than the previous immortal realm, which made Yi Junline very angry. Yu Washeng is further refining the star core. We are powerless to resist, so we have to hide first and make plans when you come back. Lu Wangshu said bitterly. Star core. Mentioning this thing, Yi Junline suddenly felt very familiar. After a little thought, he remembered that this is the core thing that maintains each world. The star core of Kunlun realm was polluted, which led to the decline of the entire world. Its importance is self-evident. Report to the Emperor of Heaven, the heavenly Tao is dead, and I can no longer feel its existence. Tong Wudi said sadly with red eyes. He was the son of destiny born in the early immortal world, and had the closest relationship with the heavenly Tao. Later, the immortal world turned into the holy world, and he also reaped huge benefits from it. However, now that the heavenly Tao of the holy realm is dead, Tong Wudi's only superiority has been lost. He is no longer the son of destiny with a halo on his head, and there is not much difference between him and other strong men. Master, that monster is very strong. We have tried our best, but we still can't defeat it. Even the heavenly palace was destroyed. Hong Chenyi said with a heavy heart, her hair disheveled and her face covered with blood. You know, relying on the heavenly palace formation laid by Lu Wangshu, everyone can now deal with an ancient saint-level strongman with their combined efforts, but in front of that opponent named Yu Washeng, it collapsed in a short time. This is 2FC King uncomfortable. After Yi Junline understood the situation, he said in a deep voice, the heavenly palace is gone, but it can be rebuilt, as long as you are okay. Li Ruotong said solemnly, fellow Taoist Yi, do you know that Yu Washeng was formerly known as the Yu Wa Xiandi? According to the information, he ascended from the Kunlun realm and was the founder of the Yu Wa sect. He was the one who interfered and colluded with foreign races to attack the Beihan Immortaland, and the later invasion of the Undead Blood Clan, and his shadow was also behind it. It turned out to be him. Li Wuji slapped his head with an extremely strange expression. I used to pee on the other party's tablet. No wonder I always feel familiar with him, as if I have seen him somewhere before. Yuha sect, Yuha, Sheng, I should have thought that they are related. No wonder I always feel a little familiar when I hear this name. Yi Junline's mouth twitched, and he couldn't describe his inner feelings in words. Damn, this Yuha sect is really full of talents. He just killed Chen Xiao, the son of Yuha sect, and then the founder of Yuha sect came out to make trouble. Who would have thought that a villain force that was destroyed in the early stage could still make such a big scene later? The most urgent task is to find him and stop him from refining the star core of the Holy Realm. Yi Junline said in a deep voice. The star core of each planet is inside, so he naturally has to look for it from the deepest part of the ground. Boom! A huge force instantly shattered the earth. Yi Junline was wrapped in holy light, turning into a bright rainbow and rushing into the ground. With his speed, he soon arrived at the underground core of this world. This is a vast underground world. It is not as dark and cold as imagined, but very bright. It is surrounded by a strange energy magnetic field, which seems to have the effect of suppressing cultivation. At the front, there is a strange sphere suspended, made of crystal, emitting a faint light. This is the star core that maintains the operation of the holy world. At this moment, a young man in a feather robe was sitting under the star core. The energy of the star core is pouring into his body continuously, making his whole body shine, as dazzling as the sun. Sensing someone approaching, Yu Huasheng's eyelids moved slightly, and then he opened his eyes sharply. Two sets of eyes pierced him like sharp swords, and he shouted, "Who?" The entire underground world was rumbling and shaking. "Good son, I am your father." Yi Junlin sneered. Yu Huasheng was stunned, and he laughed angrily. "Who do I think I am? It turns out to be the famous Lord of Heaven. I'm afraid you never imagined that I, Yu Huasheng, would reach this point today." Before, Yu Huasheng was developing in a wretched way, relying on the demon fetus to crazily devour the corpses of saints from outside the realm. His cultivation soared like a rocket, and he broke through to the realm of the ancient saint without anyone knowing. Apart from Yi Junlin, he is the strongest monk in the holy world. But Yu Huasheng's ambition goes far beyond that. He wants to devour the heavenly Tao of the holy world, and even the entire holy world, in order to reach a higher level. Therefore, he has been dormant, silently waiting for the opportunity to come. Finally, Yi Junlin left the holy world and inquired about this news. Yu Huasheng thought about it for a long time. After repeatedly weighing the pros and cons, he decided to start realizing his greatest ambition. Yu Huasheng knew very well that he would have a chance only if Yi Junlin left the holy world, otherwise he would have no chance of winning. Subsequently, Yu Huahuo used the demonic embryo transformation technique to swallow up the way of heaven and seal the holy world. If successful, the entire world would be refined by him. Although Tianting and the others were trying their best to resist during the process, Yu Huasheng had nothing to fear in Tianting without Yi Junlin, because he was now terrifyingly strong. If he hadn't worked hard to refine the way of heaven, all of them in Tianting would have died in his hands. Until the heavenly Tao was successfully refined by him, Yu Huasheng went directly to the deepest part of the holy world to prepare to refine the star core. Thanks to the characteristics of the technique, he has swallowed up the energy of this star core, and his cultivation level has also broken through from the ancient sage to the realm of the holy king in one fell swoop. Yu Huasheng was no longer afraid of anyone's threat. He felt that everything was a foregone conclusion. At this time, seeing the Lord of the Heavenly Court here, Yu Huasheng no longer concealed himself and directly broke his face. "It's a showdown, I am the biggest villain in the world." Jeeheji. Window. _tabula equals window. _tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article feed. Placement. Below article feed. Target _type. Mix. Chapter 717. Holy King versus. Holy King. You're right. I didn't expect that there would be a dangerous person like you in the Holy Realm. You could make such a big fuss while I was away. What surprised me even more was your identity. You are the founder of the Yuha sect in the Kunlun realm. Yi Junlin sneered, speaking of which, it's really a coincidence. After all, it was me who led people to destroy your sect. HMPH, I only found out it was you later. The grudge between you and me has been going on for a long time. It's time for us to put an end to it. A bloody light like a blade flashed in Yu Huasheng's eyes, and he released a terrifying demonic energy all over his body, with a strong sense of oppression. Thanks to the heavenly Tao of the Holy Realm, I have learned something from it and have been able to condense a rare king-grade holy intention. Otherwise, it would be difficult for me to achieve the realm of the Holy King, hehe. Yu Huasheng's arrogance is vigorous, and he is in a top-notch posture. He is completely different from the one who used to be submissive in front of the foreign races and could only cater to them blindly. Now he is a holy king. Looking at the vast universe, he is also a worthy overlord. And then, Yi Junlin also burst out with a Saint King level pressure, colliding with Yu Huasheng's surging momentum. Yu Huasheng's eyes changed, and then his eyes narrowed slightly, flashing with extreme jealousy. You are really a monster. In such a short time, you have grown to the Saint King realm. He can only rely on continuous devouring to improve his cultivation. Although the effect is very significant, it will be very dangerous. Once discovered, it will be the fate of everyone to kill him. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is the public enemy of the universe. This is why in the past so many years, he could only develop in the immortal world, and did not dare to act recklessly, fearing that he would be found out by the immortal court. Thanks to Yi Junlin, he can pick up corpses crazily in the rear, otherwise he would not be able to cultivate to the Saint King realm in such a short time. It can be said that he can get to where he is today, all thanks to Yi Junlin. Yi Junlin is his lucky star. It is precisely because of this that Yu Huasheng is very afraid of Yi Junlin, and he knows very well how monstrous the other party's qualifications are. If he can devour this kind of outstanding person, he will get unimaginable benefits. This battle is the key to his complete counterattack. If he can win, his future achievements will be unimaginable, and the realm of the Saint Ancestor is a foregone conclusion. But if he loses, then everything will come to an end. As the thought turns, golden lines appear on Yu Huasheng's body, and his aura suddenly feels like he has become a feather and ascended, sacred and inviolable. The next second, the terrifying magic light that captures the heart covers half of his body, and a strange phenomenon occurs. Half of the lines on Yu Huasheng's body are golden, and half are black, including his eyes, which is quite a sense of déjà vu of gods and demons. This move caused Yu Huasheng's momentum to increase by more than 100 times, so powerful that he is invincible. He, can you fight me now? Accompanied by the classic laughter of the villain, Yu Huasheng flashed and came to Yi Junlin like a ghost, raised his palm and slapped it fiercely, and the dark golden palm light emitted a terrible power fluctuation. Boom! The air wave surged. Yu Huasheng raised his eyebrows, and he found it difficult to press his palm further because it was firmly blocked by a long sword. Yi Junlin showed his white teeth and smiled kindly. Don't worry, I will chop you to death here. The voice was filled with a monstrous murderous intent. Yu Huasheng's scalp was a little numb, and then his eyes were fierce, and he roared, "Today, either you die or I live." Then, he punched and hit frantically. The offensive was like a storm, and the momentum was unmatched. If it were an ordinary Saint King, his body would be broken and his soul would be destroyed in a moment. But for Yi Junlin, this was far from enough. Swish, swish, swish. Every time the human emperor's sword was swung, it could raise a terrifying sword energy. Some scars began to appear on Yu Huasheng's body, which made him very annoyed, shocked and angry. The power of this sword was really beyond expectations. Demonic Shadow Clone. Yu Huasheng performed a unique spell, and a strong energy wave rippled all over his body. One after another, figures appeared like copies, as if they were carved out of the same mold as Yu Huasheng. There were as many as 100,000 clones, densely packed, surrounding Yi Junlin alone, exuding an overwhelming sense of oppression. Now, how should you deal with it? 100,000 Yu Huasheng spoke together, and the cold voice echoed in the underground world. Suddenly, they all attacked together and launched a new round of offensive against Yi Junlin. Yi Junlin waved the human emperor's sword and fought with this group of clones. He found that their strength was only 1/10 of the original body, but there were so many of them that they were enough to cause him a lot of trouble. Clones, I have some too. As he said that, Yi Junlin performed the 3 pure ones of one chi, and the other 2 clones appeared, each holding a different magic weapon, one carrying the heaven burial coffin, and the other holding the longevity flute. These 2 are magic weapons given by the system, which will be upgraded as the host's cultivation level improves, so they are currently both Saint King level sacred artifacts. When the other 2 clones used powerful magic weapons, Yi Junlin's pressure suddenly dissipated, and he became at ease again. Boom boom boom, like autumn wind sweeping fallen leaves, countless demon shadow clones were destroyed, and the number was rapidly decreasing. Damn, you actually have this trick. Yu Huasheng, who was hiding in it, was shocked. He found that the 2 clones Yi Junlin used could perfectly inherit the strength of the original body. With the addition of the Saint King level holy weapon, the combat power was simply multiplied by countless times. After all, one was difficult to deal with, and adding 2 more, wouldn't the chance of winning be even slimmer? Thinking of this, Yu Huasheng's heart sank to the bottom of the valley. No, he couldn't lose. Otherwise, everything would fail. Yu Huasheng pinched his hands, and the demon fetus shrouded in the holy world slowly disappeared. The world returned to clarity, and many people in the outside world were happy, thinking that the crisis had been resolved. As a result, the earth was shaking, as if something terrifying was swallowing it. Far away in the underground world, it was now covered by a huge black meatball, with only 2 figures of Yu Huasheng and Yi Junlin in it. Yi Junlin looked up and found that the surroundings were full of black blood vessels, beating like a life. Surprising, right? I've narrowed the scope of my devouring, so I can better concentrate my power. In this demon fetus, my state will be even stronger, and you will be affected by the erosion all the time, until you are refined by me during the battle. Yu Washeng spread his arms and showed a ferocious smile on his face. As his voice fell, countless black air filled the demon fetus and devoured Yi Junlin. As Yu Washeng said, he shrunk the demon fetus, from covering the entire saint realm to only him and Yi Junlin. In this way, the power of devouring will be more concentrated, and the effect is perfect. Chapter 718 The Curtain Falls. Die. A roar. Yu Washeng pounced forward, black claw marks crisscrossed. During the process, demonic shadow clones were constantly released from him, rushing towards Yi Junlin like a surging sea. Boom 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 boom. The exploding light balls were extremely dense and connected into one. The black fog was filled, gloomy and terrifying. The scene was like a group of demons dancing wildly, and the demonic sound was mighty. Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. He could feel that his state was suppressed in this demon fetus, and he had to deal with this difficult corrosive force. It was indeed not as easy as before. Brahma Saint Heavenly Demon Phase. Yu Washeng's black hair was flying wildly, his eyes were shining brightly, and a huge and majestic Dharma image with a monstrous demonic aura emerged from behind him, emitting a breathtaking black light, like an eternal black sun. In an instant, the sense of oppression suddenly doubled. Yu Washeng threw a fist with a grim smile, and a vast force like the sea exploded, and it actually directly knocked Yi Junlin's clone carrying the heaven burial coffin away. Another clone of Yi Junlin who was playing the longevity flute was drowned by hundreds of millions of demon shadow clones. Witnessing this scene, Yi Junlin also felt the difficulty for the first time, and re-examined the threat of Yu Washeng. This is the Dharma image that I spent tens of millions of years to cultivate. I don't believe that you still have a chance to win in this situation. Yu Washeng's face was ferocious, his eyes were bloodshot, and veins spread across his neck and face, which looked extremely terrifying. It is worth noting that the Brahma heavenly demon image he sacrificed was powerful, but it was also madly absorbing his lifespan. Interesting, very interesting, I haven't met an opponent like you for a long time. Yi Junlin was not panicked, but felt excited. This was the emotional fluctuation that only occurred when facing a real strong enemy. Invincible sword heart, open. The next second, in front of Yu Washeng's astonished eyes, Yi Junlin burst out with an invincible sword force, and the whole person was like a peerless sword unsheathed, trying to cut off the galaxy and sweep across the universe. Chila, the invincible sword light suddenly appeared, and the sword energy swept like a hurricane. Boom boom boom, billions of demon shadow clones were destroyed, leaving Yu Washeng alone. At this time, Yi Junlin almost wrote the word invincible on his face. In front of this invincible sword force, the surrounding black air with corrosive power could not get close. He pointed his sword at a distance, with a playful smile on his lips. This farce should end. Yu Washeng came back to his senses from the shock, and there was a fear of losing control in his heart. He gritted his teeth and said, "You are dreaming, the winner of this battle is me." After that, he launched a fierce attack on Yi Junlin with the surging magic power. Dharma phase, I also have it. Yi Junlin also sacrificed his exclusive Dharma phase, the Heavenly Emperor Dharma phase. Instantly, a tall shadow appeared behind him, wearing an imperial crown, with long hair loose, with a sense of emptiness without sadness or joy, as if the eternal blue sky was hanging high, overlooking all living things. All around him, there were all kinds of celestial phenomena, tsunamis, scorching suns, storms, like the only emperor who dominated the world. Yi Junlin's momentum rose steadily, holding a long sword and stabbing straight forward. The sword light was magnificent, the sword power was amazing, even the rules of the holy way were boiling. What? Yu Washeng felt bad and had to resist. Boom! The mighty energy flow swept in all directions, impacting the flesh wall of the demon fetus, and the thick blood vessels burst. Yi Junlin delivered sword after sword. His sword moves were simple and unadorned, but there was a sense of simplicity. Puff! After Yu Washeng resisted a few times with difficulty, he was shocked and vomited blood, and the Brahma heavenly demon behind him became more and more illusory. Impossible, I can't lose. Yu Washeng urged the Dharma like crazy, and a lot of life in his body was passing away, which made his originally black long hair begin to have some silver hair, and more wrinkles on his face. But Yu Washeng didn't care about this change at all, or he was not in the mood to care, because now he just wanted to defeat Yi Junlin. At any cost. As long as he can win, what does it matter if he sacrifices 90% of his life? You know, the lifespan of a Saint King is almost inexhaustible, at least it can live for 10 billion years, but at this moment, a huge amount of lifespan is pouring into the Brahma Holy Demon phase, and the lifespan consumed every second is in units of 100 million years. You can imagine how exaggerated it is. However, because of this, the power of the Brahma holy demon phase is thousands of times stronger than before. Under this almost invincible blessing, Yu Huasheng seemed full of confidence again, raising his hand to hit the vast and boundless power to crush Yi Junlin. Yi Junlin's face was stern, and he summoned the human emperor banner. All the soul slaves in the human emperor banner were mobilizing their strength at this moment, forming a considerable force to resist Yu Huasheng. The other two clones also pressed over and fought against Yi Junlin, who was the original body. The scene was grand and it could be called an unprecedented ultimate showdown. Kill! Yu Huasheng roared like a wild beast. Although he seemed powerful, he was actually extremely anxious. He knew the price of this power, which was simply too much to bear. So, he hoped to quickly get rid of this powerful enemy in front of him. It was a pity that Yi Junlin was not as good as he wanted. He still stood like a magic needle, fighting against him to the extreme. In a matter of seconds, Yu Huasheng transformed from a young man into a gray-haired old man, with wrinkles on his face like shriveled tree bark, and a feeling of sluggishness on his body. Since there is not much life left, the power emitted by the Brahma Saint, heavenly demon and demonic phase is also decreasing crazily, and Yu Huasheng is gradually losing ground and is defeated in this battle. Boom! Yu Huasheng was thrown away by a huge force and hit hard on the flesh wall of his demon fetus. Because he was unable to maintain the operation of the demon fetus suddenly collapsed and turned into nothing. At this moment, silence returned to the underground world. An old man with white hair and a withered face, blood flowing from the corner of his mouth and scars all over his body, fell to the ground. A pair of cloudy eyes were full of unwillingness and fear. On the other hand, the other silver-haired young man holding a sword was still as powerful as a dragon, majestic and invincible. Both sides make a decision. The outcome is decided. Yi Junlin felt the scarce holy power in his body and secretly said that this battle was indeed exhausting enough. Facing Yu Huasheng, he can be said to have used all his cards. Just saying that this battle was very hardy, and he also felt an indescribable pleasure from it. I haven't felt this good in a long time. You lost. Yi Junlin looked down at the white-haired old man and said calmly. Yu Huasheng's eyes were cloudy and dull, and his heart was filled with sadness and despair. He couldn't believe that all of this was true. For so many years, I have worked step by step, endured humiliation and burden, and worked hard to keep climbing up, just to realize my ultimate ambitions. After finally reaching this position, just one step away from the final goal, he was interrupted by an absolute force. Everything in the past has become a thing of the past. The old man sighed slowly, with a sad emotion. Yi, you are such a monster. Chapter 719 Yu Huasheng, who is the villain? At this moment, Yu Huasheng finally accepted the fact of this miserable defeat. Even if he didn't accept it, what could he do? He had done so much, but he still failed miserably. The other party was simply invincible. Is this your last words? Yi Junlin raised his long sword, and the sword body was filled with holy light. I guess so. Yu Huasheng laughed bitterly, and he admitted that he still couldn't face death calmly. Because he was really unwilling. When he was young, he made a promise to be the best in the world. From then on, he embarked on the immortal road and pursued perfection in everything. Because of his genius and high comprehension, he grew up quickly and created the Yuha Ascension Ju. He was invincible in the east region of Kunlun realm and his reputation spread far and wide. After breaking through the realm of crossing the calamity, he decided to establish the Yuha sect. As the founder of the sect, Yu Huasheng recruited disciples widely, and countless cultivators came to admire him. The sect was prosperous and thriving. Due to the limited environment of heaven and earth, he decided to overcome the tribulation and become an immortal, ascend to the immortal world, and pursue the illusory end of the immortal road. Yu Huasheng, who ascended to the immortal world, was first captured to mine and tortured, and then sought an opportunity to escape, created the magic fetus transformation method, and began a new road of rise. From a small true immortal, he grew up step by step to become an immortal, but at that time, he realized that the immortal world might not be safe in the future, so he thought about seeking a new way out and secretly cooperated with foreign races. This process was very thrilling, but after this step, there was no turning back. Yu Huasheng knew very well that he didn't care about the righteousness of the human race. He just wanted to climb higher. Even if he stepped on the bones of billions of creatures, he had to reach the peak of this road. Later, as the situation developed, Yu Huasheng found a shortcut to improve his cultivation faster, that is, picking up corpses. He followed Yi Junlin closely and became a professional picking up leaks. After each battle, it was his best opportunity to improve his cultivation. Just like that, Yu Huasheng, who was waiting for an opportunity, took advantage of Yi Junline's absence and devoured the heavenly way of this world. If things went well, then all the creatures in this world would become his nourishment. However, the biggest variable appeared. All efforts failed at the last moment. Countless pictures flashed through his mind like slides, and finally stopped at the silver-haired young man holding a sword. Swish! A vast golden sword light pressed down, reflected in Yu Huasheng's turbid pupils. After the sword light, there was no more figure. Yu Huasheng opened his eyes again, and a look of doubt flashed across his eyes. Am I not dead? Where am I? There was an endless void around him, and countless densely packed soul slaves stood in a row, staring at him with bloodshot eyes. Suddenly, Yi Junline's voice sounded, "You are indeed dead. This is in my Human Emperor banner." Human Emperor banner? Yu Huasheng had an ominous premonition in his heart. He looked around and saw numb faces, including strong men of multiple races. Are these all enemies who died in the previous battles with you? When he said this, Yu Huasheng shuddered, as if he had anticipated his fate. Yes, there is also the holy son of your former Yuha sect among them. Come and say hello to your ancestor. Yi Junline ordered. A golden-haired figure with bloodshot eyes and black hair flew out of the soul slave army. That was Chen Xiao. Chen Xiao's memory before his death had been erased. The reason he came out was completely controlled by Yi Junline. Yu Huasheng's scalp was numb, and his heart was trembling. He suddenly felt that he was a real failure as a villain. It's not enough to kill people, even the dead souls are driven, and they don't even have the qualifications to reincarnate as beasts. It's cruel, too cruel. Don't even think about succeeding. Yu Huasheng roared, and was about to destroy his soul. He would rather not enter reincarnation than be enslaved like this. Haha, this is not up to you. Yi Junline's playful voice sounded. Once you enter the Human Emperor banner, even if you are the King of Heaven, you have to surrender obediently. Instantly, Yu Huasheng's dead soul was controlled by an invisible force, his memory was quickly deleted, and strange black smoke began to appear all over his body. His eyes turned from clear to blood red, and his face was hideous and terrifying. Boom! A vast wave of the Saint King level came out, pressing the surrounding soul slaves to their knees. Yi Junline looked at all this with satisfaction. The Human Emperor banner was really awesome. In this way, he had an extra Saint King level thug. This guy had been fleecing him before, and now it was finally his turn to work for him to pay off his debts. Putting away his thoughts, Yi Junline raised his hand and took the dim star core in his hand. After a large amount of energy was lost, the star core of this holy world was basically useless. In addition, the holy world was riddled with holes and extremely dilapidated, and it was difficult to connect with the prosperous holy world in the past. Thinking of the mess left by Yu Huasheng after his death, Yi Junline couldn't help but feel a little annoyed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for activating the random task, migrating the creatures of the holy world to Kunlun realm, and combining the two into one. After the task is successful, you will get a reward. Invincible Sword Heart is upgraded to Eternal Sword Heart. Closing square bracket. Suddenly, the system prompt sounded. Yi Junline was startled, and his eyes kept changing. Invincible Sword Heart is very strong in itself, and it is a big trump card in his battle. If it is higher, it will be the strongest Eternal Sword Heart. If he has such a support, even if there are 10 Yu Huasheng, I am afraid it will not be enough for him to chop. So, he must get this reward. As for the content of the mission, it is to help the creatures of the holy world migrate to the Kunlun world. Yi Junline thought carefully, isn't this equivalent to giving up the holy world? This world has been destroyed to the point of being hopeless. Even the star core that maintains the operation of the world has no energy left, so there is really no reason to stay. The coolness of the holy world is a foregone conclusion. Yi Junline was in a complicated mood. How should he explain all this to people outside? Taking away the star core, Yi Junline left the underground world. At this time, all the creatures on the ground are praying. I don't know how the Emperor of Heaven is doing now. That monster named Yu Huasheng is difficult to deal with. HMPH, no matter how powerful you are, can you be as powerful as our Emperor of Heaven? Yes, the Emperor of Heaven will definitely win. Everyone was talking a lot and had great confidence in Yi Junline. Don't worry, Master will be fine for sure. That bastard will probably be hacked to death by Master by now. Li Wuji came out of the passage. In his perception, Yi Junline is invincible, before, now and in the future. Lu Wangshu sighed. I'm not worried about him. What I'm worried about is what to do with this holy world in the future. After being tortured like this by that Yu Huasheng, is this holy world still suitable for practitioners to live in? This is what worries him the most. After all, the predecessor of the holy world was the immortal world, which he jointly created with a group of immortal emperors. He had already placed a lot of emotion on it, and now that it has been turned into such a horrible state, it would be a lie to say that he doesn't feel distressed. As soon as these words came out, everyone felt heavy. Aha! In the broken pit, a silver-haired figure filled with holy light flew out, then stood in the air with his hands behind his back. Look, the Emperor of Heaven is coming out. Seeing this figure, all the monks in the room were excited. Yi Junlin announced, "Everyone, that person has been killed by me, and the crisis is officially resolved." The majestic voice is like a bell, echoing in every corner of the holy world. Hearing this, the holy world cheered and the hearts of countless monks fell to the ground. Great, that demon is finally dead. Tong Wudi gritted his teeth, hating him to the core when he thought of what the other party had done. Li Ruotong sighed, "At least our lives are saved. Hey, what should we do next?" Bu Qinfen frowned. For the majority of creatures in the holy world, the crisis is still potential. As long as the holy world does not return to its original state, the creatures living here will not be able to adapt and must leave their homes and go to other star regions to find a way to survive. At this time, Lu Wangshu raised his hands and said solemnly, "Emperor of Heaven, please decide how to go in the future." Yi Junlin gave him a meaningful look. "Good guy, leave the mess that can't be solved to me." "Old Lu, you are really smart." Lu Wangshu also felt helpless. After all, the matter was so important that if he made a wrong step, he would be a sinner forever. Since he was not the one who made the decision, he might as well hand over the decision-making power to the other party and just do the work. Everyone held their breath and focused on Yi Junlin, quietly waiting for his answer. The whole place was completely silent, only the howling of the cold wind could be heard. In that case, then, Yi Junlin pondered for a moment, and then made a decision that shocked everyone. Window. _tabula equals window. _tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article thumbnail, 300 by 250 feet. Placement. Below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet. Target _type. Mix. Chapter 720 The Great Migration. Move all the creatures in the Holy Realm to the Kunlun Realm. This will also strengthen the overall strength of the Kunlun Realm. After hearing Yi Junlin's words, everyone's expressions changed. Have we reached this point? Lu Wangshu murmured. Li Ruotong said, "I agree, return to Kunlun Realm." She herself came out of the Kunlun world, and now that she can take this opportunity to go back naturally, she naturally has no resistance at all. I have heard about this world. It is said that most of the races in the Holy World originally migrated from the Kunlun world. Logically speaking, I think there is no problem in migrating there, but can that world accommodate the vast number of creatures in the Holy World? Tong Wudi and other strong men who do not belong to the Kunlun realm all have this doubt to some extent. On the one hand, they feel that the cultivation environment in Kunlun realm is not as good as the Holy Realm in its heyday, and on the other hand, they feel that the local forces in Kunlun realm will exclude the monks in the Holy Realm. After all, the influx of so many outsiders at once will inevitably have a strong impact on the inherent order of this world. Yi Junlin's eyes flickered. I can completely understand your worries, but I can tell you that today's Kunlun realm is no worse than the Holy Realm in its heyday, and is suitable for Holy Realm creatures to live and practice. As for whether the Kunlun realm monks will accept you, I don't know. I don't think there's any need to worry too much, because I can mediate and minimize friction between the two parties. You know, I can definitely speak easily there. Speaking of this, Yi Junlin deliberately emphasized his tone. Li Wuji quickly agreed. Yes, my master came from the Kunlun realm, where he is the leader of the Holy Alliance, the most powerful force in the world. You can also understand that he is the Lord of Kunlun. It is worth mentioning that it used to be the Immortal Alliance, but later it was changed to the Holy Alliance. After all, the Immortal Way is a thing of the past, and now the Holy Way is respected. Lord of Kunlun. Hearing this, everyone was shocked and looked at Yi Junlin with a little more admiration. This person is the Lord of Heaven in the Holy Realm, and the Lord of Kunlun in the Kunlun Realm. Both of them are prosperous together. What a success! With the protection of Yi Junlin's identity, the collective migration of the majority of Saint World creatures to the Kunlun world will not cause so much resistance and disgust. After all, if this kind of thing is not handled well, then you will become an enemy of the monks of the world, and a world war will break out. Now that it's all said and done, we have no other way out and can only follow this method. Lu Wangshu said. He remembered that Yi Junlin had told him about the integration of the two worlds before. Now it seemed that this might be fate. It's just a pity for this holy world. After all, I have stayed here for so many years. I give it up as soon as I say it, but I still feel very reluctant to give it up. Everyone nodded, feeling very sorry for the fate of the holy world. Then, let's gather everyone to do a good job in publicity, and then teleport to the Kunlun world through the space teleportation array in batches. Yi Junlin ordered. As you command, the backbone of the heavenly court present said solemnly. Subsequently, the news about the collective migration to the Kunlun realm suddenly swept through the holy world like a storm. The holy monks were shocked and obviously felt incredible. But more of it seemed to have been expected. After all, the holy world has entered the stage of exhaustion. It is said that the holy world has promoted it, and it cannot even compare with the original immortal world. How can it support a huge number of living beings in such a harsh environment? Therefore, giving up the holy world and migrating to other holy worlds is the wisest and most helpless choice. If you stay here, you can only wait for death. Hey, I didn't expect that one day, we would have to leave the land where our ancestors have lived for generations. I just don't know if the monks in Kunlun realm are willing to accept us in a friendly way. Hope everything goes well. Many monks in the Holy Realm still understand this kind of migration, but they are a little worried about the subsequent integration into the Kunlun realm. Under the arrangements of Yi Junlin and Lu Wangshu, space teleportation arrays appeared densely, preparing to teleport the creatures of the Holy World in batches. No matter what race they are, as long as they are alive. In order to avoid causing uneasiness in the Kunlun world, Yi Junlin even made a trip himself and returned to the Kunlun world to arrange for the Holy Alliance to do publicity work and get vaccinated in advance. When he learned the news, the Deputy Alliance leader Qinglian Sword Immortal was very confused. Why are the creatures from the Holy World coming over? But as long as it is Yi Junlin's order, Qinglian Sword Immortal will definitely comply with it. He immediately mobilized various departments of the Holy Alliance and began to rapidly publicize it in the 5 major areas of Kunlun realm, calling on the monks here to actively cooperate. Suddenly, it was like a stone causing thousands of waves. In just a few days, all the monks in Kunlun realm knew that people from the Holy Realm were going to migrate here. At first, they didn't understand the origin of the Holy World. When they learned that their predecessor was the immortal world, the expressions on their faces were wonderful. Is this the turn of fortune? In the past, we were all rushing to ascend to the immortal world. Now it is the turn of the monks in the immortal world to go to our Kunlun world. Fortunately I didn't go, otherwise I would have to come back. With so many outsiders coming all at once, I'm afraid there will be friction and conflicts with the local forces. Is this inviting wolves into the house, or is raising tigers a problem? Although the Holy Alliance actively promoted it, many monks from the Kunlun realm did not buy it. They regarded the monks from the Holy Realm as external competitors and felt that it would affect their own vital interests and create a series of problems such as competition for resources. After all, when there are many people, involution becomes serious, and they have experienced it before. It's weird to be able to look good. Only due to the influence of the Holy League, there was no widespread protest, but generally there was a resistant attitude. It seems that I thought too simply. Yi Junlin stood on top of the clouds, overlooking all living beings, his eyes dark and unclear. Today, he has a Saint King level cultivation and has extremely strong hearing. He can clearly hear the discussions of countless creatures from all directions, even in the 5 realms. Such a huge conversation can basically lead to one message. That is to say, the local monks in Kunlun realm are resistant to the collective arrival of creatures from the Holy Realm. In fact, this is human nature. Who expects that a large number of outsiders will appear for no reason and divide the cultivation resources of this world with themselves? Originally, the resources of Kunlun realm were inexhaustible, enough for local monks to slowly explore and practice. Now that so many outsiders have come, the sense of crisis suddenly arises. If public opinion is deliberately guided by thoughtful people, the seeds of war will be sown between the 2 sides. If one is not handled well, a large-scale battle will break out in the future, which will cause serious internal losses to the Kunlun world. Fellow Taoist Yi, I heard about the Holy World. An ethereal, melodious and somewhat majestic voice sounded. Empress Fuyao appeared in a flash and stepped towards her. Her figure was unparalleled and her appearance was breathtakingly beautiful. Yi Junlin's expression changed. Fellow Taoist Fuyao, do you have any objections? You might as well speak up and listen. He still respects and appreciates this woman very much. The other party was the supreme ruler in ancient times. There must be a better way to deal with this situation. Empress Fuyao said seriously. Actually, fellow Taoist Yi only needs to do 2 things. One is to expand the current resources of Kunlun realm and realize rational distribution. The other is to increase propaganda efforts and exaggerate as much as possible the threats posed by external forces to Kunlun realm so that Kunlun realm the monks from the realm believe that the addition of the monks from the holy realm will enhance the overall strength of the Kunlun realm. In the face of huge threats from the outside, we must unite with the monks from the holy realm to compete. Quote, as long as you can do these two things, the current predicament will be solved. Window. _tabula equals window. _tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article thumbnail, 300 by 250 feet. Placement. Below article thumbnail 300 by 250 feet. Target _type. Mix.